as foreigners make you a minority. Another election, another bust. Go vote for that liar, it's a must. We were given the greatest gift of all, decided to give it up and watch the fall. Yeah, it's just a clown world. We're living in a clown world. Join us in the clown world. It's easy to see that the joke's on you and the joke's on me.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday, July 14th, 2026. Welcome into your home for political play-by-play, the Owen Report. Coming in hot today. You know, DMT was coming in hot today. In fact, I need to make a request for DMT to monitor the audio. Made a couple switches on my end here, DMT. So if you could do a little extra spot check for the audio today. All right, guys. So welcome into Groundhog's Day. This edition of Groundhog's Day, where President Trump is once again posting, are you reading the essays? Are you reading the Trump essays about every time we've won the war or lost the war that never existed, or the strait is open or it's closed, or both, or we have control? I don't know. Another essay today. Or do you just look at it like Groundhog's Day and you pick up the microphone, stare into the abyss of the camera and just say, here we are again, guys. Here we are again. I don't know when we're going to get out of this, but here we are again. No new wars means another forever war. But there's a couple other aspects. There's a couple other angles to this now. You start to see the rest of the geopolitical pieces aligning. And you see where Trump is struggling to get them to align. You see where some of them, I don't know if you could say are aligning with Iran per se, but they're aligning in their own interests, which in this sense supports Iran, specifically China, if that makes sense. So you're kind of seeing all of this happen. We're going to briefly look at that with Trump's statements today, and then some other statements that senators are making. So we're going to take a look at that. Now, I have to say, guys, I'm watching this. There were two hearings today. There was the one that got the attention, which was the Supreme Court. They want more security. Okay, they want more security. They need a bigger security budget. They wanted, I think the number was $320 million for a security budget. Wouldn't you like to get that contract? In fact, guys, I think I'm out. I think I'm going into the security business. I'm going to move to D.C. and just open up a security firm because, man, how would you like to get that deal? Okay. Now, I could juxtapose that with some of these other issues that we have with personal security when it comes to politics. And there's a lot of differences as far as, I mean, take a look at a Charlie Kirk. Here's a situation, one of the biggest news stories. The official narrative, he gets shot by a leftist terrorist. And that's likely what they're going to tell you. I mean, I think that that's likely what the conclusion of all this is going to be, whether you believe it or not, is a different story. But it's probably that's what's going to go into the history books. So you can sit here and you can talk about left-wing violence and terrorism and how it affects us and how they really do nothing for us. But then there they are saying, hey, you need to do more for us. So we, the people, they can't do anything to help us. But we, the people, we're supposed to do even more to help them. And they're the ones that are supposed to be fixing and solving all of these issues, by the way. But that's not even what I took away from it. You could easily, that was kind of my instinctual reaction listening to the hearing today with the Supreme Court justices. Coney, Barrett, and Kagan were the most obnoxious. That was like my instinctual reaction. It was like, how are you going to sit here and beg for more money as you know there are left-wing terrorists on the street, and it's really unsafe to a certain degree for many right-wing journalists to even do their work? But you guys need more help. You guys need more money. But as I'm watching this develop, it's just, guys, this whole thing is a damn clown show. I don't know what else to say at this point. if you're watching that and you don't realize what an absolute joke our Congress is, what an absolute joke our government is, what an absolute joke our representatives are, and then what do? You flip the channel in case you're unsure of just how unserious things are. You change the channel, and what do you get? They're swearing in Lindsey Graham's sister to be a senator. What? And I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be the one that has to do this. And after further review, I'm not believing that this wasn't foul play, by the way. I'm looking at it now. I think my odds have flipped. It's still a tight margin, but I think now I'm looking at, no, there was foul play involved in whatever happened to Lindsey Graham. Yesterday, I was like, I don't know. I think this could just be, these things happen. He took a vaccine. Now I've flipped, and I'd say it's like 55% chance that there was some foul play involved with that. And here's his family, and they're all up there. What are you, 2 days after the shocking death, the surprising death, and they're all up there smiling, glad-handing, like this is a celebration. I'm just, what is going on? What is going on? And I think this is kind of the frustration, not to get into the monologue here in the opening, but it's like, this is the frustration. How do any of these new media people that are just trying as hard as they can to sell this MAGA thing, I mean, they're clinging to it. It's like, how can you guys take this government seriously? Like, what do you expect us to do? You expect me to take any of this seriously still? I don't get it. Tell me, how are the no new wars? How are the deep state arrests? How are the mass deportations? How's the Epstein client list going down? It's like, and now I have to sit here and listen to Amy Coney Barrett and Elaine Kagan screeching and whining and bitching and moaning how, oh my gosh, it's so hard for us out here. And I'm supposed to take any of this seriously. I flip the channel. They're swearing in Lindsey Graham's sister. Oh, nothing to see here. I'm supposed to take any of this seriously? I just don't get it. Who relates to this crap anymore? It's so unrelatable. It's a big fat joke, guys. It's a big fat joke. I don't mean to monologue in the opening here, but I mean, it's the whole thing is just such a joke. How anybody still takes anything seriously. It's like, even with Trump, it's like, here you go. Here's another no new wars essay about the new war, about the strait and being open or closed or Iran and all this. We've obliterated they have no military, but they're bombing us again. It's just like, who takes this crap seriously? Who believes any of this garbage? Do you guys seriously still think this is a serious movement? I'm sorry, can't relate. So anyway, crashing out a little bit in the intro here. No, okay, we got a big speech from Trump coming up on Thursday, and it looks like we got an idea of what that's going to be about. Of course, every time they tease one of these speeches, it always ends up flatlining, but we'll look at that. Oh, some big news about mass deportations. Well, so throw it onto the stack of they're not happening. They're not happening. Oh, and I forgot to mention, there was another hearing today. Nobody went. The only Republican that showed up was Randy Fine, and that's because he wants to cry about anti-Semitism. But there was another hearing today about DEI on college campuses. Oh, it was so serious. I mean, again, guys, it's just the whole thing is a joke. You flip. This was basically C-SPAN today, by the way. If you're not picking this up, it was like C-SPAN was Supreme Court justices bitching about they need more money for security. A DEI hearing with Randy Fine being the only Republican even in the room because the whole thing is so dumb. It's such a waste of time. Nobody even shows up, but he shows up because, the anti-Semitism deal. And then it's Darlene Graham being sworn in. And this is C-SPAN today. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, what is going on? Oh, thank God there's a World Cup game coming on. It's like, oh, thank God I can tune out of this. And, some people do. I get to the people that don't like the sports and you don't want to hear about the slop. I totally get that. Believe me, I get that. I am sympathetic to that. But I think, there's something you have to understand here, guys. The political world has become so cringe. You can't even stand it anymore. And I had a point in my life. There was a long period of my life when I got out of the sports media that the whole sports thing was cringe to me. There was like an entire day. I didn't want to look at any of it. Like it was just, it was all cringe. And it was politics that was cool. It was politics that was interesting. It was politics that was captivating. It was politics that offered us something perhaps real to maybe fix our country. And now it's all been taken. It's all gone. And now it's like sports is less cringe than politics. So I can't help it. I can't help it. So we got that. Did you see the story out of Time magazine today about the Israeli influence campaign? You know, it's so funny. We had that meme, and it doesn't trend as much, but everybody remembers 7K, 7K, 7K. It was all real. It was all real. And we're just realizing it was more than even what we thought. It wasn't just about the direct Israel to American media influence pipeline right from Netanyahu. No, they're buying up as much influence umbrellas and influence networks as they possibly can. And they're looking to turn MAGA into an Israel first movement. And now it's all admitted. It's all admitted. And all of these people that pointed the finger at anybody that disagreed on foreign policy and said, Qatar, 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 they're all taking money from Israel. And again, I'm supposed to take this seriously. I'm supposed to take this political movement seriously. I'm supposed to pretend that the Trump administration is doing anything serious for us right now as far as the mandate is concerned. Give me a break. Please, give me a break. Give me a break. Go pick up your pom-poms. Go run onto midfield. The team is losing 100-0, but go run onto midfield and shake your derriere and do the high leg kicks for Trump. Just go, because that's all you guys can do. It's getting ridiculous at this point. Oh, and a little more research into the big video from last Friday in the Tyler Robinson case, by the way. So we may get a little bit of an update on that. I got into it yesterday pretty conclusively, but maybe there's a little we could add to that today. We'll see if we can get to it all. Today's Owen Report is brought to you by Cove Pure Water Filtration Systems. Folks, take your water filtration to the future with Cove Pure at covepure.com/Owen. Now, why do I say take it to the future? Well, if you have the machine, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But to those that have not gotten their machine yet, as you can see on the screen, there is a touch screen interface on the front where you can control the temperature of your water. You can control how much water you want out. It gives you an update on the status of your filters. And then with one push of the button, it gives you the water. It's incredible that you can go from ice cold water, and once you fill your cup with ice cold water, somebody else behind you says, "Hey, can I get a hot water for tea?" You push one button right after that, scalding hot water comes out. You can make tea, instant coffee, whatever you want. It has a pitcher. You can remove the pitcher. You put it back on after you've poured a couple glasses. It refills itself. A pitcher that refills itself. This is just some of the incredible tech in the Cove Pure Water Filtration System. But find out why everybody is so happy, and they are. Everybody that purchases one of these tells me how much they love it. Find out why everybody is so happy right now at covepure.com/Owen. And for my listening audience, $250 off. You heard that right. $250 off your water filtration system right now for my listening audience at covepure.com/Owen.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right. I'm pumping my fist. I'm pumping my fist because I went against what I said yesterday. I told you I hadn't reached a conclusion. I ended up going with Spain to cover and the over. Oh, and we just got goal number 2. Sorry, guys, I can't help it. Do you want to hear about how our country's getting screwed over a little more? We can do that. Let's do that, shall we? That's what the crowd wants. That's what you tuned in for. I've got a Trump essay. Oh, the ICE protests are back too. We didn't even mention the ICE protests. It's a little bit of a different flavor this time, though. The ICE protests are a little bit of a different flavor. I'm going to explain when we get to that portion here. So, okay, Trump is now going back to what he said a month ago and a month before that, and then 6 months before that for those trying to catch up, keep up at home. And, I see why Trump is not such a fan of Caitlin Collins in there. And she basically catches Trump and is like, hey, you've been saying the war is over. When is it going to actually be over? And he doesn't know what to say. So they push this financial report today about the CPI being down and inflation being down. Don't be surprised if they adjust those numbers in September. It's kind of how it goes. But have you ever heard of that? Have you ever heard of the book, How to Lie with Statistics? That's basically what this is. It's just they're lying with statistics. Do you know anybody right now that claims the economy is good? Now, that doesn't mean everybody's doing bad. It doesn't mean everybody out there is, getting crushed right now. But it's nobody's really talking about how good the economy is. And we'll see. We'll see. As far as what happens with energy and gas prices. But so far, it's not good. No, it's not good at all. So it was a pretty bad night. Lots of war, guys. U.S. bombs Iran again. Tehran strikes Gulf tankers. So big back and forth last night. A lot of bombs. Very expensive. Very expensive night. A lot of expensive fireworks happening last night. And it's not going to end anytime soon. The war that ended a year ago, the war that ended 6 months ago, doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. And now Trump is basically demanding the rest of the world get involved. Trump is asking the rest of the world to get involved on America and Israel's behalf here. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go. The rest of the geopolitical world that might, let's say, be on our side or strategically has alliances or partnerships with us, mostly they've just been kind of balking and kind of just, checking and saying, all right, okay, we'll help you a little, but we're not getting invested. We're not getting overly involved here. And it looks like Trump is kind of now putting on the pressure and he's saying, well, you guys, it's time for you guys to join our war. Now, I can read to you his latest essay here. Look at this one. It's not even worth it. It's just total, it's the same crap he says every month. He posts one of these essays every month after he's won the war for the umpteenth time. And he says, oh, we're winning and blah, blah, blah. So it's just, we could do that. We could read you the essay or we could just show you this and it'd probably be just as impactful. It's just about the same thing at this point. Yeah. Groundhog Day, guys. It's Groundhog Day. But here's a little back and forth. This was last night between Trump and Caitlin Collins. I don't know. I don't know how he's going to have to continue to answer these questions. It's getting to a point of ridiculousness, but people still believe it. So I guess that's all that really matters. Trump is going to keep saying the same crap as long as people believe it. I guess that's the strategy here.
Do you think a deal is still possible? Do you think they'll return to that?
Yeah, I think a deal is possible. Sure, I do.
But Mr. President, you noted the United States is bombing Iran again. I mean, you've been bombing Iran for months now. Is this just the new normal for the American people?
No, well, we're in Vietnam for 19 years. We're here for 4 months.
Oh, so now it's Vietnam. So now we're justifying Trump's foreign policy with Vietnam. I mean, come on, man. What a joke. What an insult. Vietnam, widely considered one of the biggest foreign policy blunders and disasters in U.S. history. And Trump's like, well, it's better than Vietnam. Why are we talking about Vietnam? That means it's really bad, guys. Let me tell you, if Trump is out here comparing this to Vietnam, it's not good, okay? That means it's really, really bad.
So I think we've done a lot. We've knocked out their Navy in a period of 1 month.
And by the way, what's he say? He says we were in Vietnam. Hold on. What's that about Vietnam, Mr. President?
Normal for the American
No,
people?
well, you know, we're in Vietnam for 19 years. We're here for 4 months.
Oh, we were in Vietnam for 19 years. Tell me, how long have we been in the Middle East, guys? Tell me. I mean, I'm not the best at math, okay? But let's see. I'm just turned 37. Seems like we've been there my whole life. So how long have we been in the Middle East? You were supposed to get us out. You were supposed to stop these wars. You campaigned against these wars. You admitted what a disaster it was, spending trillions of dollars in the Middle East. And now all of a sudden you like them and you're engaging in them just like everyone else before you. And you're saying, well, it's not as bad as Vietnam. I don't know. What if it is? You know, we all seem to agree, and all of the polling represents this, by the way, that the United States is heading in the wrong direction. Everybody seems to agree that since the turn of the 21st century, the United States is heading in the wrong direction. Well, what's one thing that's remained consistent? We've been involved in the Middle East. It's been the leading influence factor of our foreign policy, specifically Israel's influence over it, and its purchasing of our Congress. So we all agree all the directional things are wrong with the country. And then you sit here and you point out, hey, here's something we've been doing for the whole entire what's going wrong with the country period of time. Maybe we should stop doing that. Just a thought. No. No new wars didn't actually mean no new wars. And you've been fighting this war for 47 years, by the way. So, it's a 47-year-old war, but hey, it's not Vietnam that was 19 years. And by the way, we didn't mean no new wars. And when I say war, I don't actually mean war because we don't have congressional approval, and so therefore it would be illegal. And by the way, if Trump was a Democrat, guys, if Trump was a Democrat, can you imagine what right-wing media would be doing today? Can you imagine what the current MAGA media coalition would be doing and saying today? If Trump's last name was Biden, can you imagine the response to such ridiculousness? They'd be saying he's senile. They'd be saying he's lost his mind. They'd be saying he has dementia. But these standards don't apply to Trump.
So I think we've done a lot. We've knocked out their Navy in a period of...
We've knocked out their Navy. How many times have we heard that we've destroyed their military? We've destroyed their Navy. They have no capabilities anymore. We've been hearing this for a year, and it keeps coming back somehow. Somehow the military that we have completely destroyed continues to fight. How is that possible? Of course it's not. So Trump is lying. He's just lying. Just like we've been lied to about their nuclear weapons. Just like we've been lied to about virtually everything in the Middle East that has cost us trillions of dollars. And now Trump is running the same gambit. Now Trump is running the same corruption, the same boondoggle. And, you know, I was really upset as I'm watching these things happen last night. And you pick and choose. You pick and choose when you want to, voice concerns, let's say, with your audience in the immediate aftermath. And I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to get into it. But no, I have to tell you guys, I'll tell you. And I wonder how many people feel this way. It genuinely breaks my heart. It genuinely breaks my heart that this is my country and this is what it's like. And, we hear all this stuff about, because all these Europeans come to the United States, and we hear all this stuff about, wow, the media lied about you guys. The media misrepresented you guys. You guys are actually awesome. Yeah, that's true. The problem is our government is not. The problem is our government is evil. It's corrupt. Maybe it's the most evil, corrupt government in the world. It doesn't represent us. And so why do we get this interpretation. Why do we get this representation? It's because of our evil government. So our government is a bunch of bloodthirsty, greedy sons of bitches. Our government representatives are a bunch of traitors and sellouts and pedophiles and cheaters and scammers and criminals and crooks. They bomb the world nonstop for our entire life. And then the world has to look at our country and our people and think, oh, that's you guys. You guys are a bunch of war pigs. You guys are a bunch of greedy sons of bitches. You guys are a bunch of cold, callous assholes, just like your politicians, just like your media, just like your government. And the truth is, no, actually, the American people are the opposite. The American people are hardworking people. They're good people. They care. They're good to get along with. They're the kind of people you want to be neighbors with. You want to be friends with, you know, ride or die types. That's the American people. That's what they come to our country for the World Cup. And that's the people that they mingle with and meet and greet and go to dinner with and share stories with. And then here's our monster demonic government killing people again. Here's our monster demonic government bombing people again. Here's our monster demonic government destroying natural resources and all kinds of infrastructure again. And then that represents us. And that breaks my heart. And I don't understand anybody that doesn't have a similar mindset here. And the only thing I can conclude, if this doesn't break your heart, the only thing I can conclude is if this doesn't bother you, is that you've just totally checked out. You've just completely checked out and you really don't care. You really don't care what the world thinks of us. You really don't care what our foreign policy does around the world or how it impacts the world's view and perspective on us. You just don't care. I don't get it. And maybe this one hurts the worst because I supported this man. I supported this man, and he stabbed us all in the back. He stabbed our country in the back. He stabbed our people in the back. He lied to us. He's done the opposite of what he said he would do. This might have been our last chance to save this country politically and peacefully. We bet on him. We put our necks out there for him, and this is what we get. Another liar, another crook, another criminal. And then I have to watch this again, my country bombing foreign places, bombing foreign people, an absolute evil representation of this country and all the good it's done for the world. And these monsters do this again, and this is becoming our reputation once again. Once again. So yeah, it breaks my heart. And if that doesn't break your heart, then we're screwed as a country. We are screwed as a country if that doesn't bother you guys, because you know what that means? That means we're the bad guys. And that means our country is going to fail. That's what that means. If you are not bothered by these evil demons, and you are not bothered by these people continuing to represent us around the world with nothing but death and destruction, and you paying for it, then this country will fail. Now, the good news is most people are bothered by this. Most people are sick of this. Most people are nauseous of this. Now, there's virtually zero representation of this in the media. All things considered, maybe 1% of the media actually represents where the American people are actually at as far as how they feel about what this administration is doing, or the previous administrations. They all do the same thing, all of them. So I don't understand how people can't be heartbroken to see what our country has been turned into. Our country, our government has been sold to the highest bidders. Our government is run by the biggest liars. And then they treat our military like their own personal toy to make and shift the world order as they see fit to benefit themselves and their friends. And they do it under the color of our flag. They do it under the name of our country. And it doesn't represent our flag. It doesn't represent our country. It doesn't represent our people. It represents the worst of us. It represents the worst of mankind, the worst of humanity. And I'll just say this in closing, and I'll go back to the clip. I promise I'll go back to the clip, but I'll just say this in closing. I constantly see, because the right, the MAGA right is slowly but surely starting to realize that They're not winning anything. And, you know, whatever was once cool about MAGA or whatever was once popular and trendy and actually, you know, like taking over the culture, whatever that was with MAGA, it's all gone. It's gone. So, yeah, you've got some people that are still in the circle, and you've got some people that are getting promoted by the machine, and they're still kind of picking and choosing winners in the new independent MAGA media. So there's still some sort of a pulse and a representation, but it's not cool. It's cringe. It's not popular. It's disliked. So slowly but surely, the MAGA media is kind of coming to this. They're finally starting to accept that this is the reality. So they're going into this new direction of moral high grounding. So, okay, they're going to have to accept, all right, we lost. We're not getting anything out of this administration, but we're still better than this, or we're still better than that, or Iran is still really bad, or Muslims are still really bad. You know, all of this stuff like, hey, you know what? All right, we're still the moral high ground, though. And they want to play this moral high ground game. You guys really don't get it at all, do you? You really don't get it at all. You have no moral high ground. Do you really think that America has any moral high ground right now? I don't care what you think about Iran. I don't care what you think about Islam. I don't care what you think about anything else out there. Are you deceiving yourself to that degree that you think America has the moral high ground? Let me remind you guys of something, which, by the way, just 2 years ago, you all felt this way. Just as a quick reality check to see where we're at. Oh, we have the moral high ground, do we? On what? On politics? Is our government less corrupt than the rest of the world? Is our government less evil than the rest of the world? Do we have free and fair elections like the rest of the world, or are our elections rigged like the rest of the world? Do we have the moral high ground on politics, guys? Do you believe that? Do you really believe we have the moral high ground on politics? What about culture, guys? What about culture? You know, we commit how many abortions every year? And what about the dismemberment of children and calling them trans? What about that? Yeah, what about the entertainment? What about the music? You really think we have the high ground there? Do you really believe that? Really? Because you agree with all of the things I just mentioned. Do we want to get real dark with it? Oh, we have the moral high ground politically. Didn't you guys believe that the last president was a pedophile? Joe Biden? Do we have the moral high ground? Didn't we just talk about the Biden crime family and all the money and the buying and selling of political influence and access with the money trail and the bank accounts? You really think we have the high ground there? What about the Epstein clients and the client list and the emails where they're still breaking the law, by the way? They haven't declassified everything. They're still breaking the law. You haven't even seen most of the Epstein files. What about that? What about Jeffrey Epstein? You know, he's the big American pimp from the 80s and 90s. He's getting profiles in magazines and TV shows. He's rubbing elbows with all the political elite, tech elite, all of them. What about the Diddy parties? Do you really think that you have the moral high ground on anybody as the United States of America? So that's how they justify this. That's how they're justifying the continued death and destruction that our government is forcing on the rest of the world on behalf of our Israeli owners. And they're so close to coming to grips with how evil it is. Many of them are still in rejection of it because they can't, because they like Trump or they're a Republican voter, so they live in denial. Many of them are still just anti-Islam, and so whatever, you can do no wrong if you're hurting those people or destroying those people. You can do no wrong because they're always worse than you. But they're slowly but surely coming to grips with it. But this is their last phase of justifying it is, well, we have the moral high ground. It's like, yeah, you know what? This administration is not delivering. Trump pretty much lied about everything. Oh gosh, the foreign policy is blood drenched again. But you know what? We still have the moral high ground. We're still better than them. Really? You don't think the U.S. government is corrupt, huh? You don't think the foreign policy is demonic? Huh. Okay. So that's how Trump is able to get away with this nonsense. But let's go back. We'll go back here. He's trying to justify this new war that he promised he wouldn't do, and that he's won 40 different times, but yet is bigger and badder than ever.
1 month, we knocked out their Air Force. Their Air Force is non-existent. We knocked out most of their missiles, most of their drones.
Is it starting to feel like Groundhog Day, guys? Are we in Groundhog Day? How many times have we heard this exact same speech over the last year? Is this the sixth time now?
We knocked out their drone manufacturing capability, about 92%. Their missile capability for manufacturing, we knocked out 89%. And they have a little capability, but they don't have any capability for us. This is almost a military skirmish. Now, with all of that being said, you have to get people that want to make something. We had a deal with them 2 days ago, and then they said, oh, we can't make that deal. We have to negotiate it further. And this is what they've done for 47 years. The difference is nobody negotiated like I do.
Yeah. And that's going so well for us, guys, isn't it? Aren't you guys so glad that we're back and focused in the Middle East? Aren't you guys so happy? Isn't it so great? You know, we wanted mass deportations. Sorry, we got to deal with the Middle East. We wanted deep state arrests. Sorry, we got to deal with the Middle East. We wanted to cut into all the waste, fraud, and abuse and fix the debt and the deficit issue. Sorry, we got to get involved in the Middle East. Sorry, guys. And that's the story. That's the story. And now it's gotten to a point where Trump is trying to drag the rest of the world into this. And you could reach your own conclusions as to why. You know, I think that at this point, I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know what Trump is thinking. I don't know if anybody knows what Trump is thinking. I don't even know if Trump knows what he's thinking at this point. Because it's not like Iran is going to be some sort of a military might issue. And yet, for some reason, we can't finish this deal. So now he knows it's a disaster and he's begging the rest of the world for help. Well, why? Why is he begging the rest of the world for help? Is it because we're broke? Is it because we don't have any military weapons anymore? Is it because we don't have the strategic advantage? Why is it that Trump is out here begging the rest of the world to help us out in this war that we've already won 38 times and isn't even a war?
And we're not going to put it up. Yeah, I want to be reimbursed because we're protecting a very rich portion of the world. We're spending money. And so what we've done is we are going to be reimbursed for protection. We're protecting by the countries that we're helping. For instance, you look at the 5 countries. You have Saudi Arabia.
By the way, this is exactly what Trump said about the wall. Trump said that he would get Mexico to pay for the wall. Now you don't even have a wall and Mexico's not paying for it. You are. And why is this even an issue? Why? So think about this. Why is Trump up here today begging other countries essentially to bail him out? I mean, that's what he is. He's begging other countries to bail him out. Yeah. So you, the American people, you need to know this. This new war with Iran has probably cost us over $100 billion. And that might be on the low end. That might be on the low end. You might even be approaching $200 billion. Now, if you go off of, there's basically 2 numbers. If you go off of the original Pentagon numbers, the war has cost us $113 billion. Now, they came out a month or 2 ago and basically sent out a budget update, and they said that the war had cost us somewhere around $60 billion. I don't think that was accurate. I think the original numbers of estimates that they were putting together is that this war has cost us over $100 billion. So that's obviously a disaster. So Trump is now looking at the bill and he's saying, oh boy, I screwed up bad yet again. And he's begging other countries to bail him out. So now the question is, are these countries interested? I think that a major geopolitical shift is happening right now. And in the past, a president could get up there and run a similar foreign policy, ask the world to have our backs, and there would be very little resistance. It wouldn't be as much of a problem. But the foreign policy in the Middle East has been a disaster. The European countries got their own problems. They don't want to deal with our foreign policy anymore. They don't want to deal with the Israelis anymore. And so now we're up to our neck with this war in Iran. The only country that we're working with is Israel, and they're not even willing to fight. They don't fight. Israel asks us to fight, and then they send in the mop-up crews. Israel does military-style demolitions in Palestine, and then they send in the mop-up crews, just like they're doing in South Lebanon. They're not fighting. There's no war that Israel is putting boots in the ground. They just kill anything and everything and then send in mop-up crews, and for the big heavy lifting, they call us up, the government they own. So I don't know. I don't know if the normal dynamic of geopolitical influence and power is going to come through for Trump. He thinks the European countries are going to bail him out. They're not. He thinks the Gulf nation states are going to bail him out. Now, maybe they will. Maybe the Gulf nation states that he has a better relationship with, maybe they can work out some kind of a deal to help foot this bill for this new war. But I don't know. I don't know, guys. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. And now, instead of the United States of America, almost 2 years into the Trump administration, dealing with our own interests and domestic policies and how to fix our country, instead, we're back in the Middle East. We're in the quicksand of the Middle East. We can't get out. And now we can't get anything done on the domestic mandate because we have to prioritize the Middle East because the lobbyists that own our government, that's what they want. And anybody that's not reporting it like this, anybody that's not telling it like this is they're either blind, dumb, or lying. I don't know how else you can break that down. I really don't. So now they're sending out congressmen because Trump can only be one place at one time, guys, right? So there's only so much propaganda that President Trump can do. So the Republicans are sending out senators now to go onto the media and do these interviews and explain how important the war is, and then try to beg the other foreign countries to pay our bills. So here's an example. Senator Marshall from Kansas on CNN.
Here's another question that I have, and it's not for you. It's for the Gulf Coast countries. We have defanged Iran. Now it's their turn to go in and finish the job that they...
And I love this whole thing. Oh, we have taken care of Iran. Guys, Iran wasn't a problem. Who was Iran bombing? Who was Iran at war with? Nobody. Now they're all getting bombed. That's all Trump's fault. That's all Netanyahu's fault. That's all the foreign policy results. It's like, what is this ridiculous propaganda where they're pretending like there's more peace because of Trump? What is this ridiculous propaganda where they're pretending like, oh, everybody's in such a better, more stable situation now because of Trump? It's never been more unstable. It's never been more like these tourist traps in these Gulf nation states. Nobody's going anymore. They have all these penthouses, high-rise apartments, fancy hotels. They used to be filled. They're empty. The tourist economy's dead. They're getting their ports blown up. They're getting their refineries blown up. None of this was happening before until Trump. None of this was happening. And then they go on TV and they say, hey, you need to be thanking us for this. Thanking you? Because of you, I've got a hotel on fire. Because of you, I've got an empty luxury apartment complex. Because of you, multiple oil refineries are now out of service. Because of you, I can't get resources and energy through the Gulf of Hormuz. Because of you, a tanker's just been destroyed. Because of you, I might be involved in another war. What do you mean we should be thanking you? What do you mean we should be paying you? You should be paying us. And by the way, that's where the bill is going to end up, suckers. In case you haven't figured it out. Who paid for the tariffs? Twice. The American people did. They paid for it when the price went up, and now they're paying for the actual tax itself because Trump failed. And I guess you can say, well, the Supreme Court failed Trump. Well, whatever. Either way, the result is the same. So they're going to sit here and do the exact same thing because eventually the bill is going to come home, guys. The Pentagon's already said we're broke. We have no money. Eventually, that number is going to come home, and it's going to be over $100 billion. And Trump is going to look like a jackass. And all the people that supported this intervention are going to look like fools. And so this is them getting ahead of it. They're saying, well, we're going to make Europe pay for that. We're going to make the Gulf nation states pay for that. Thanks to them, the Strait of Hormuz is now running smoothly thanks to us, so they owe us money. Running smoothly? You can't even determine whether it's open or closed or who controls it. So guess who's going to pay for this war too? Oh, don't worry. We'll get them to pay for it. They owe us. Yeah, right. They're going to send us a bill for all the damage that's been done to their country. And guess what? Don't be surprised one bit if in 2028 and a Democrat wins and these countries send us a bill and then the Democrat president says, yep, we have to pay this bill. This is what Trump did. And then they're going to blame it on Trump. And it's probably going to be about $250 billion. And they're going to make it all, and they're going to make the whole thing about how Trump cost us a quarter trillion dollars with another waste of time in the Middle East. And they're going to sit here and run a humiliation campaign against the entire country and the warmongers that supported this. And you're going to pay for it. The economy's great. They're telling you the economy's great today. You paid for the tariffs twice, and now you're going to pay for this war twice. But hey, guys, don't worry. You're winning. You're winning. And this war is definitely for you. In fact, it's so obviously for you that Ted Cruz has to give public speeches about how it's for you.
Look, we right now have a military conflict in the Middle East. It is ubiquitous online that this war is for Israel. People say, I don't want my children to die for Israel. Now, the response to that, the response to lies, is truth. And that's something that I think is important for all of us to engage in. I'm spending a lot of time making clear, listen, President Trump launched this attack on Iran because Iran is killing Americans.
Where? Where is Iran killing Americans and why?
This is not for Israel. This is for America.
Oh. And then he has to double down on that. No, actually, yeah, if you don't want your kids to die for Israel, if you don't want to die for Israel, don't join the U.S. military. I mean, it's really not even a controversial statement. It's really sad. All the great men and women that love this country, all the great American patriots that feel an honor and a drive to be a part of the United States military, the United States Army, the Marine Corps, the Navy, you name it. All these great institutions, all these great Americans, the legacy. Yeah, it's sad that corrupt politicians like Ted Cruz have sold out these American institutions to the highest bidder and the biggest liar. How many servicemen have died in this recent war against Iran, which is 100% for Israel? And by the way, they all admit it. The Trump administration admitted it. Everybody knows this war is for Israel. If we weren't allies with Israel, none of this would be happening. If the Israeli lobby didn't own our Congress and our White House, none of this would be happening. And Ted Cruz knows it. And that's why they have to come out and give these speeches and they have to argue that this war is for America. Folks, if there was ever a war that was actually for America, it would be so obvious that Ted Cruz wouldn't have to tell you. The fact that he has to argue that this war is for America tells you that it's not for America. So yeah, to all the great American men and women in our military, we love you. God bless you. You're the best of us. But let's be frank about people out there that might be thinking about joining. If you don't want to die for Israel, don't join the military. It's really that simple. And it's not even necessarily, you could say that right now, but really the truth is that your government, your politicians, your Congress, your White House, it's all just up for bid. It's all just up for auction. So right now, Israel's the biggest bidder. Right now, Israel has the most money and influence as far as foreign policy is concerned. So right now, it's fair to say, yeah, if you don't want to die for Israel, then don't join the military. It could be anything in a decade at this rate. It could be Vietnam. It could be anywhere. It could be anything. It could be Central America. It could be Asia. Whatever the donor class wants, that's really who you're fighting and dying for. Right now, it's the Israelis that are mostly the donor class that run things. So the fact that Ted Cruz has to deliver this speech tells you, yeah, we all know the truth. We all know the truth. And they were celebrating a big bridge that they took out. The Akala Bridge reopened in less than 24 hours, guys. We took out a bridge in a war, and it's been reopened in less than 24 hours. We can't even reopen the Francis Scott Key Bridge, guys. In fact, we can't even take it down. We don't even know what we're doing. And that's not even a war zone, apparently. What's that been? Years and years, and we can't repair the Francis Scott Key Bridge. We just bombed a critical bridge in Iran, and they fixed it in less than 24 hours. Now, of course, they had China's help. In fact, you could say it was mostly China that even ran it. So you've got China now on the ground helping Iran. I mentioned Randy Fine. He was the only Republican at a DEI hearing today. You've seen these Iranian propaganda videos where they do like these Lego skits. And I guess they have one here featuring Randy Fine. He did have his hat on today. He's got a new hat every day. He had a new special Hebrew hammer hat on today at the DEI hearing. So I guess that's why they assume that this is him. Because Randy Fine is obviously fat. I mean, he's obese. He's morbidly obese. So they don't make obese Legos. So I guess that's why Randy thinks that this one is him because of the hat. Other than that, it doesn't look like him at all. So that's the assumption here. And so Randy Fine loves this. Iranian media made a Lego version of me. Not sure how to react other than I am making it my profile picture. So here's what's happening. And I've been saying this for years. I've been warning about this for years. If you've been listening to me for years, I did one of the most serious monologues of my career after October 7th when I warned this exact phenomenon was going to happen. And now we're here. So what is this? So Randy Fine, he's loving it, guys. He's loving it. And so are so many others. Let me explain what is happening here. They love it because they don't know anything else. You are now living in the Middle East politically, and you have Jews and you have Arabs now fighting for territory politically in the United States of America. Maybe it's worth mentioning, you've got churches being burned to the ground. You have Christian churches, Catholic churches, some of them over 100 years old. They're all being burned to the ground, and they're not repairing them. They're tearing them down. They're tearing the remains of these burned churches down. This is happening all across the country. So now Jews and Muslims are fighting for the United States of America, guys. It's cooked. It's cooked. Do you understand this? And they love it. They're loving it. The Israeli lobby, they're loving it that they get to fight for their future in and through the United States of America. And now here are the Muslims. They figured it out. The Muslims figured it out. They said, hey, why do these U.S. bombs keep landing on our countries? Hey, why do these troops keep landing in our countries? Oh, because Israel owns the U.S. government. Okay, so we'll go over there. So now we'll fight for the U.S. against the Jews. Do you understand this, guys? It's over. There is no America. All of these people have usurped our country, and it's just the Middle East now. That's all it is. It's just the Middle East. You are in the Middle East, guys. So that's why you're going to sit here and deal with this now. The Israel side and the Arab Muslim side. And this is what American politics is all about now, guys. This all day, forever, for the rest of your life. And how do you like this? Ukraine Prime Minister resigns and Zelensky ordered reshuffle. The timing here is interesting, especially with the passing of Lindsey Graham. But, you know, Zelensky is not even a legitimate president. Zelensky, first of all, canceled an election years ago in a wartime emergency orders issue. The timing of that has expired. Zelensky is an illegitimate president, and now he's reshuffling the government, even though he's technically not even allowed to be president right now. And this is who we're fighting for, by the way. This is who we're supporting, by the way. So there you go, guys. So your country's $40 trillion in debt. The interest payments on that debt has just hit $1 trillion annually. Home prices in the United States are at an all-time high. The vast majority of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. We have a record high debt as far as consumers are concerned in this country. Record high delinquencies, record high repossessions. This is the reality of your country. And that's because you're putting foreign countries' interests first because your politicians have sold you out. If you haven't figured this out, if your political coverage is not deriving from this reality and everything you cover from this reality, then you're doing your audience a disservice. And you can't even really be honest as a political commentator. You can't even really be honest if you cannot comprehend how everything flows through that reality. All right. Oh, yes. Oh, the White House put their economic report out. Consumer price index is down by 0.5%. Okay, cool. It's up 20% in the last 10 years. Kiss my ass. Oh, inflation was at 2%. That's a good number. Kiss my ass. Screw you. If you're going to sit here and tell me that the cost of living in this country is barely affordable, if you're going to sit here and pretend like Trump has inflation under control and Americans aren't concerned about it, you can kiss my bare ass. You frickin' liars. Oh, the economy's doing great. Who are you talking to? What reality do you live in that anybody thinks the economy is doing well? I'm sorry, guys. You know what? No, the economy's great, guys. The economy's great. Trump's doing great. We've got peace all over the world. Your government's not corrupt at all. You should trust your government. Trump's never lied to you. There are no new wars. Israel has no influence over our foreign policy. And the economy's better than ever, Jack. The economy is better than ever, Jack.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
All right. Did we have some crash outs there? I don't know. It was kind of a crash out hour, honestly, all things considered. It's a bit of a crash out hour. So, all right. Well, the second hour is brought to you by Crash Out Energy. I don't know if we've got any more crash outs left in us. We had a lot of them in the first hour. Crashout.energy. Secure your canister today. And we have secured another order. I will tell you, I'm very happy, guys. People are loving it. They're loving Crash Out. And we've already sold out of the first run. We just made the second run. That means a lot. I want to thank everybody. And also, just let me say this too. You know, I hate being overly commercialized. And look, we got to do ads. Obviously, we got to pay bills here. So that's just going to come with the territory. But we have done really zero marketing for this outside of the show. I've done zero marketing outside of the show. And we've already gone through a first order. And so I want to thank the audience for the people that tried it, for the people that gave it a shot. Thank you guys. Most of you love it. Most of you came back and made a second purchase. Some of you came back and purchased a bunch of it. So I really want to thank the audience for making this possible, because I'm betting everything on this. I'm betting everything on this. So most, probably should be spending money on marketing and getting in front of other eyes and getting it in front of other audiences and trying to do it like that. And I've just been going full on, just marketing it here. And we just made our second purchase officially. So don't worry, plenty in stock. But anyway, the people like it because it's great. That's why they like it. So if you're sick of the toxic energy drinks, if you're sick of all the bad ingredients in energy drinks, and you want something that actually gives you caffeine and is good for you and gives you mental focus, try Crash Out Energy. Go to crashout.energy. Secure your canister today.
It's America's home for political play-by-play. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right. I was getting a little feedback there in the break. Some people messaging me, friends listen to the show. Little feedback in the break. Yeah, it's fair. I complained a lot in the first hour. I can't deny it. But look, I told you guys, it breaks my heart. Guys, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to see the wasted potential of this country. It breaks my heart to see my country's people be completely deceived and enslaved. And then it just totally wrecks me when I see our bombs dropping all over the planet again. It just wrecks me, I'll be honest. So you can call me whatever you want. That's just the truth. And that's why on a day like today, I'm just overly upset at the current political system, let's say. All right. Now, Trump, I'm starting to see, by the way, there's some trends popping up as we get ready for Trump's speech on Thursday. Trump to assert voting machine vulnerabilities in Thursday's speech. So Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Trump is really hyping this up, and you've got the digital influence campaign that is paying people to hype this up as well. So they really want people to tune in. And this is not the first time where Trump has kind of pumped up and hyped up a speech like this, but the previous couple of times it's been a total flatliner. The previous couple of times it was a bunch of hype, and then it was a nothing burger. So free and fair elections is going to be that's going to be the thrust of this Thursday speech. Free and fair elections. And when you start to see the digital influence campaigns out there pushing that, that's probably a paid campaign. There's also rumors that he's going to be directly addressing the 2020 stolen election, and maybe even potentially directly at Georgia. Now, Georgia senators are responding to this prematurely. John Ossoff calls out Trump's obsession with 2020 election ahead of speech. So it seems like the Democrat senators are kind of bracing for impact. The rumor around these MAGA influence circles is that Trump is going to specifically get into Georgia. Now, this is long overdue. Let's be perfectly clear. This is long overdue. 2020 was a stolen election, and the consequences of this stolen election have been immense, including the war with Russia that we're still involved with. So it's just been a disaster. And yet there's really no real accountability. There's really no real accountability. So I've just, to me, it's like either Trump, the Trump administration, the Republicans, MAGA, either they want to make a big deal of this or they're just going to give it up. Now, I want to say, I don't think this is about the election, guys. I'm going to tell you what my theory is. I don't think this has anything to do with the stolen election, and I don't think this has anything to do with election integrity. I think it's a smokescreen. I think it is a mask for what it is that they really want, which is to merge our military with Israel's. Now, let me explain. We all know that election integrity is one of the biggest issues on the right wing. We also know that even amongst a significant portion, though be it a minority, there is a significant amount of people on the left wing that also agree that election integrity is important and will ultimately support the notion of the SAVE Act. So they know this is an easy one. They know this is a popular one, and they can make the hype about a stolen election, and they can make the hype about election integrity. And then what they're going to do is they're going to put the SAVE Act in the NDAA and say that we have to pass it. They want you looking at that. They don't want you looking at the merger of the United States military and the Israeli military, which they know is unpopular on both sides. And they know if the American people knew that if that's what this really was about, then they wouldn't support this. And they would be calling their senators and saying, do not support this NDAA unless you remove the merging of our military and Israel's. Now, by the way, there's an update on that. Thomas Massie said he is going to put a bill out there to remove that from the NDAA. Cory Booker, Democrat, or I'm sorry, no, it was Hakeem Jeffries, excuse me. Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat, he's already come out and said he's going to block Thomas Massie's bill. In other words, Jeffries, who's made over $1 million from the Israeli lobby, he is going to make sure that the Israeli merger, the total occupation, the total conquering of our country by Israel, is still in the bill. So that's what this is really about. They're running a smokescreen, they're running a distraction campaign, and they're putting something that is much needed, you could argue, whether you like the SAVE Act or not. Election integrity is a big issue. People don't trust elections. We believe the 2020 election was stolen. So they're just using the popularity of that to push it into the NDAA so they can force the passage of the NDAA. But really what they want is to merge Israel's military with ours. And if you actually think this administration is serious about election integrity, then ask yourself this. What did they do about the stolen election of 2020? What have they done so far? You're almost 2 years in. What have they done so far? And what have they done to actually shore up election integrity? Are they going to paper ballots only? Are they getting rid of the voting machines? Are they finding ways to make the whole process more transparent so after you put your vote in, you can trust that it's being counted as it should be? No. The answer to those questions is no. So if you think that this administration is serious about election integrity, you probably think that there's no new war with Iran too. They don't give a damn about election integrity. They're not going to do anything about the stolen election of 2020. This is all hype. This is all a smokescreen so that, anybody that doesn't support the NDAA is going to cause our elections to be rigged. And that's going to be the propaganda. So it's all a giant smokescreen. It's all a giant decoy. It's all a giant distraction so they can slip in the total conquering of Israel over our military into the NDAA and make you think it's all about safe elections. We're getting played again. We're getting played again. Now, I don't know if you guys saw, the protesters were out again. I was surprised by this. I didn't think this would happen. I thought that the left had given up the guys, the footage is like these people are really, it's a really sad thing happening here in the streets. These people are just it's brutal. So they're doing it again. And I will say this one looks very local because I was trying to figure out, like, okay, well, what's going on nationally? Why are they getting people to show up to this? This is a very local one. This is a local one, and it's all targeting Susan Collins. In fact, here, let me give you some of the audio. So here's what's so funny. So this is a local thing that they're using the ICE shooting in Maine. They're using the momentum and attention on that to go after Susan Collins. So this is a local Democrat thing. This is a local Maine thing. And they're turning this into an anti-Susan Collins thing. Now, what's funny is they say vote her out. They don't even know who they're going to vote for. The one guy that they had, Plantner, is out. So they're doing this rally to get Susan Collins out of the Senate. They don't even have a candidate. They literally don't even have a candidate yet. And it's actually, what's funnier about it, really, if you're an anti-Trump Democrat, you should actually support Susan Collins. And again, if you saw this, Susan Collins was at one of these hearings today. It's just the whole thing. Guys, these people are such a joke. I'm sorry. Susan Collins is a joke. She's a joke. She can barely talk. She's so old and decrepit, it's a struggle just for her to talk. Like, she talks at a hearing, she probably needs a nap afterwards. So the whole thing is a joke. Vote her out. They don't even have a candidate. The candidate, Plantner, just dropped out. You don't even have a candidate. Susan Collins is not a big Trump person, and Susan Collins many times has used her vote in the Senate to block Trump's agenda. You guys should be supporting Susan Collins. So anyway, they're out in the streets again. I can't believe it, but they're out in the streets again. And they're saying vote her out, but they don't even have a candidate to replace her with. So what oh boy, what a mess. Now, the story is you're not getting mass deportations. ICE pauses most traffic stops after deadly incident in Maine and Texas. ICE has reportedly paused most traffic stops after fatal encounters in Maine and Texas sparked scrutiny and calls from lawmakers to halt the operation. So again, you're not getting mass deportations. Not happening. In fact, I don't even know if you're getting any deportations now. ICE reportedly told to suspend most vehicle stops after 2 deadly incidents. So it sounds like the only chance you have at a deportation now is if an illegal alien commits a crime. So an illegal alien commits a crime, they get booked. And if the Trump administration or Marco Rubio can get their eyes on the situation before the Democrat pardons them, then you can get a deportation. But other than that, there is no deportation. There's no mass deportation effort. The whole operation's been called off. They're not even doing basic traffic stops now. So it's like the only deportation happens now if an illegal alien gets caught committing a crime, the Democrats try to pardon them, and then the Republicans come in, the Trump administration comes in and says, okay, we're going to deport now. It's the only time. It's the only time you're getting a deportation. Now let's think about the reality of this. What would it take? So you had to ask, are you serious? Are you serious about mass deportations? I'm not asking this to Washington, D.C. I'm asking this to Trump voters or current Trump supporters. Are you serious about mass deportations? Now, they'll all tell you yes, but they don't mean it. But let's go along and pretend like we're dealing with honest people. Are you serious about mass deportations? Yes or no? They say yes. You say, okay, what's the number? What is the number that you would like to see for mass deportations? 20 million. Okay, why 20 million? Because 20 million, that's the number that came in illegally under Joe Biden. All right, we need to deport 20 million people in 4 years. So that's a heavy task. We know it's possible because we brought 20 million people in, and that was a huge infrastructure that we paid for, by the way, that they used to bring 20 million people in. So we know it can happen. We know that you can build an infrastructure and an operation and move 20 million people because we just witnessed it under Biden. So we know it can be done, but it takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of infrastructure, and it takes a lot of operational coordination and execution. And this is where you figure out they're not serious. They're not serious about deportations. Now, if you were serious, what would you have to do? What would you have to do to deport 20 million people? Well, I think the reality that is not comfortable is that you'd have to get the U.S. military involved. That's what you would have to do. And you'd have to run a military operation, and you know, you can sort it out how you want, but you'd have to go into the sanctuary cities. You'd have to go directly into wherever it is they're all being housed, and you'd have to start doing mass arrests. You'd have to start doing mass arrests, and you'd have to start the mass deportation process. And you had to start that 1.5 years ago. Now, what's the problem with this? Well, the U.S. military is busy fighting for foreign and special interests. So you see, we don't even have the personnel to do deportations because the Israeli lobby has more control and influence over our military than you, the American people. If the American people had more influence over our military and the decisions, the U.S. military would be at the southern border, they'd be at the northern border, and they'd be operating in sanctuary cities, and they'd be doing mass deportations every day. It would be ugly. It would be uncomfortable, but that's what would need to be done. And if you're serious about mass deportations, that's what you would have to do. So obviously, I think you get the point. They're not serious about mass deportations. The Trump administration is not serious, and MAGA is not serious about mass deportations, and that's why you're not going to get them, because they're not serious. But if you were, you still wouldn't be able to do it, because your military is being used for foreign and special interests. So you don't even have the military. We, the people of this country, we don't even have control over our own military to run a domestic agenda that needs to be done to save the country. Instead, our military is running foreign agendas in order to serve foreign interests. And now they've just thrown their hands in the air and they just say, no deportations. No deportations. We can't do any deportations. All right. Winning. Supreme Court justices make rare Capitol Hill appearance to push for a $230 million security budget. Supreme Court Justices Amy Coney Barrett and Elena Kagan are set to testify before House and Senate appropriators, a first since 2019, as the High Court seeks a 10% increase for its $230 million budget, including $14 million for protective activities for justices, residences, and families. So they need more security. They need more of our money. They need more security. Now, a Supreme Court judge makes more than $300,000 a year. It's about, I think it's about 320, 340, somewhere around there. It's over 300,000 a year. So after taxes, you're still making more than $250,000 a year. You're still making $250,000 a year as a Supreme Court justice. So that's more than the average American. That's more than most people probably listening to this show. And you can afford security. You can certainly afford security. But you know who can't afford security? Americans. The average American taxpayer cannot afford security. They're lucky if they can afford a basic security system with maybe a camera or two just to monitor their house or let them know if anything is going on at a door or a window. Now, you could argue that it is maybe a dangerous time to be a Supreme Court justice. I'm not going to pretend that that's not a reality that they're dealing with. But guess what? That's a reality everybody's dealing with. And we all know what happened to Charlie Kirk, and they're going to tell us that that is a leftist terrorist that did that. So it's still open season on conservative reporters, by the way. There is no war against the left. There is no war to end the terroristic left. It is not happening. And even if or when they're able to get this conviction of Tyler Robinson, that'll be it, guys. They will wipe their hands with it and say, job done. And they won't even address the larger issue that you're really not even safe in many cases as a conservative commentator doing public speaking. You're not even safe. And I don't want to make it about me, but let's do a juxtaposition. And I wasn't the only one in this position, but let's just compare and contrast. When they were doing these swattings, and I was getting swatted and my family was getting swatted, and not just me, by the way, there were dozens of people were getting swatted, dozens of people had to deal with this. And we got guns pointed at us. We had guns, multiple guns pointed at us. We had our houses ransacked, and we had to go through this. And that was a crime. Those were crimes committed against us. That's attempted murder, okay? I have people trying to kill me right now. You understand? I don't even cover half of it. Okay, there are attempted murders on conservative journalists, and there are successful murders on conservative journalists. And of course, there's nothing for us. They can't even, folks, they don't even give us any updates. The whole swatting stuff that went on last year, 2 years ago, whatever it was, they've completely, they don't even respond to us. They promised they'd get results. They promised they'd run an investigation. They didn't do anything. Nothing. They were forced to respond to us, and then they did nothing. So I'm sorry that I don't have much sympathy for the Supreme Court judges. I'm sorry that our government is so unserious that they can't even figure out how to stop the political violence in this country. I'm sorry that you have to beg for hundreds of millions of dollars in a budget that's already broke because we're fighting another war overseas. I'm sorry that all of that is happening to you, but guess what? That's happening to the rest of us too, and you make more money than us. So you're not going to get any sympathy here. You're not going to get any sympathy here. Did you guys see any of the hearing, by the way? It's just, guys, it is such a clown show. You're watching this hearing. I'm telling you, there was an exchange. It was Susan Collins, Kagan, and Coney Barrett. And you're watching this and you're just like, oh my God. Oh my God. This is how unserious we are. If you want to know how unserious this country is right now politically, go watch that hearing and go watch the 5-minute session with Kagan, Coney Barrett, and Susan Collins. Clown show. Clown show. So that's why it's like, I just don't get it, guys. I don't understand how anybody takes the political world seriously. I don't. And I get, you know, I get the take with the new look and the new hair. And, you know, I guess creatively, you know, the show is kind of, you know, adding some different aesthetics, some different approaches. And it's like, you know, I get it. People are like, well, you know, do you want to be taken seriously? It's like, oh, you know, you need to be serious and you should wear this and you should do this with your hair and this, that, and the other thing. Like, why? Why? There is nothing serious in the political world. What is this pressure that, oh, you need to be serious? Look at all the serious people in the media. They're the biggest liars out there. Look at all the serious people that are, you know, cut from the cloth of being in the news media. Look at all of them. These are the most corrupt, lying propagandists in the world. What desire do I have to be like any of them? None. Oh, you need to be taken seriously. The whole world is a clown show. What are you talking about? You want to talk about getting serious? And you're looking at me? You think I did this? The whole thing is a joke, man. That's what I'm saying. It's like today is just such a joke of a day, guys. Today is such a joke of a day. I have to sit up last night and watch my country bomb Iran again in a war that doesn't exist. It's like, oh my gosh, okay, that's what I get last night. And then I wake up to Trump's new essay, Trump's new Groundhog Day essay. Oh, cool. Then I see the digital influence campaign telling you the NDAA is all about the SAVE Act and saving our elections. It's all about merging us with Israel. It's another lie. And then I tune into C-SPAN, and it's Susan Collins, Kagan, and Coney Barrett bitching and whining. Oh, my God. Then I flip to C-SPAN 2. It's Randy Fine bitching about DEI, this fat ass in a hat. He's the only Republican at the hearing because it's such a joke. Okay. Boop, flip again. And now it's Darlene Graham getting sworn in as a senator. And it's just total clown show, man. Oh, but you need to be more serious. Oh, you need to be more serious. What's that line? It's a great line. I think it was when Harvey Two-Face is talking to the Dark Knight. I think it was at the end of the Dark Knight. I want to look it up. And he says, we tried to be decent men in indecent times. It's like that is exactly the situation here. We tried to be indecent man. We tried to be decent men in indecent times. I'm probably butchering the quote. I should try to find it. Hey guys, we got Senator Darlene Graham. We're so serious. We're so serious with Senator Darlene Graham, guys. I want to find that exact line. All right, let's see. Yeah. You thought we could be decent men in an indecent time. And that's exactly where we're at. And by the way, look at who gets promoted in the independent media more than anybody. Nick Shirley, the guy works in hoodies. So, I mean, what do you say? I mean, Nick Shirley gets to do puff pieces with the Trump administration. He's got like a pass to go to the White House whenever he wants. He works in hoodies. You thought we could be decent men in an indecent time. And then what happens? They all go crazy. They all become comic book characters. Here he is, by the way. I don't know if this shot, because this camera angle here, there it is. This is, look, guys, this was the DEI hearing today. Look at them. Look at how many of them showed up. There's 2 Republicans in the entire House chambers. House takes up DEI's impact on medical schools. Nobody shows up. An empty room. And then you've got Randy Fine taking over the show. Oh, man. Why so serious? Why so serious? And Thomas Massey, he was one of the good ones, so they made sure to get rid of him. Thomas Massey reporting today, to fund an overextended empire, Roman emperors debased their coins by diluting the precious metal content. This week, Congress will vote to eliminate the penny. That deal is done, which was already mostly zinc since 1982. So in other words, it's not copper anymore. And by the way, copper's cheap. The same bill will allow the U.S. Mint to make nickels with cheaper metal. Now, they've been doing this with nickels for a long time. In fact, they've been debasing our currency for a long time. You don't really have gold currency, and you don't even have silver currency anymore. So they've already debased the currency. This happened a long time ago. I think right now it's like 75% nickel and 25% copper. What is in a nickel? Something like that. It's a 75-25 split. I can't remember. I'm sorry, 75% copper, 25% nickel. Item flipped. So the nickel is currently 75% copper and 25% nickel. It's been that way since 1866. Even when they switched it to the Jefferson design, it's been that way. The only time they switched it is during World War II in the early 40s, when they actually switched it for a 4-year time period. I believe it was a 4-year time period. They put out what was called a wartime nickel that had silver in it. But other than those 4 years in modern American history, it's always been 75% copper and 25% nickel. Now, they've already gotten rid of the penny. They've already gotten rid of precious metals in our currency. So really, this phenomenon has already happened that Thomas Massey is talking about. If they dilute nickels again, I mean, it just shows how the whole thing is fake. It just shows how the whole thing is backed by nothing and by less and less every day. So what are they going to do? Of course, they want it all to be digital currency, which is really of no inherent value. Now, we explained that Thomas Massey, we said yesterday, we were reporting this, that Thomas Massey was going to try to remove the merging of the U.S. and Israeli militaries from the NDAA. So that was something Massey was going to push for. And Hakeem Jeffries has said he's not going to allow it. Top House Democrats vow to oppose bid to cut U.S. military aid to Israel. How do you feel about that, Democrats? How do you feel about that, liberals? House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries calls amendment overly broad as party grapples with backlash over Israel. So Jeffries has assured the Israeli donors and the American people he is going to make sure that he removes whatever Thomas Massey puts in that bill to decouple before we fully get married to Israel with this merger. Hakeem Jeffries has taken over $1 million from the Israeli lobby, and that's what they pay for, baby. They pay for our military, they pay for our government, and they own it. They own it. Oh, hell yeah, they do. So you've got Netanyahu. Now, a lot of people are interpreting this, that Netanyahu is threatening nukes. He's threatening to use nuclear weapons. Now, I'm going to read the exact quote from this little clip. He's speaking in Hebrew. So let me just read the captions here, and we'll get into what I think he's saying. We are prepared for any scenario. I can tell you only one thing, and I will say this to the leaders of Iran. Do not count on it being quiet if you attack us. Do not count on a rerun, because it will not be a rerun, and that was already powerful enough. This will be a different event, much more powerful, The days when someone hurts us and we do not strike them back twofold are over. We did this to the axis of evil in Iran, and we will continue to do so to anyone who harms us. That is what we do. Now, of course, if that logic was applied universally and people used that logic against Israel, Israel would have been wiped off the map. Israel wouldn't even exist today if people paid Israel back twofold what it did to them. But they own our military and our government, so we protect that reality from becoming the reality. Now, I think it's fair to interpret that that is Netanyahu threatening escalation as far as their attacks are concerned. If you want to interpret that as nuclear, you know, that's open for interpretation. What's funny about the whole thing is we do know Israel has a nuclear weapon. It's kind of the, you know, the worst kept secret in geopolitical history. So they love to kind of brag and threaten the nukes that they don't have. And then when they're directly asked about it, they kind of wink and nod and say, oh, we don't have one. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, yeah. It's like you're threatening to nuke the world, but you don't have one. Okay. But how ironic is this? This is just like, it's like there's two if you want to know how corrupt our foreign policy is, there's two things that are happening right now that should give it away. There's two things. Now, one we covered in Ukraine. The Ukrainians are protesting. They don't want the war. They're trying to resist service. It's almost turning into a civil war in Ukraine because the people don't want to fight this war anymore. So the U.S. is trying to fund Ukraine to fight Russia as a proxy. So it's essentially a Ukrainian revolution against Russia. And I think really strategically, they just want to take Crimea. I think that that's really what it's all about. And I don't know how well that's going. Russia is they're having to fight for it again, but Russia has asserted control over Crimea. So we're funding a color revolution in Ukraine through an illegitimate president as a proxy against Russia. And the people of Ukraine, they don't even want to fight it. And now they're fighting against the very government. The people of Ukraine are fighting against the U.S. foreign policy that's moving through Ukraine. And we fund that. But then when we try to fund a color revolution in Iran, when we try to fund and run a color revolution in Iran, it doesn't work and the people don't want it and it fails. So we fund a color revolution in Ukraine. We claim we're the good guys. They don't want it. You fund a color revolution in Iran with the people and claim they're the good guys, and they don't want it. And then you look back and you ask the American people if they want it. They don't want it. None of the people want it. Literally, none of the people support our foreign policy. So they tried to get the people in Iran to support our foreign policy. They didn't. They tried to get the people in Ukraine to support our foreign policy. They didn't. And none of the Americans support our foreign policy. That's how corrupt it is. But then there's the Israel angle. And don't give me the moral high ground argument. If you really think the U.S. government has the moral high ground, then you're a clown, you're a joke. Now there's the Israel situation. So the whole thing is we have to go to war with Iran because they might have a nuclear weapon and they'd use it. And then, okay, so who do we support in that war? We support Israel, who has a nuclear weapon and is actually threatening to use it, and maybe has. Zero logical consistency, zero logic, zero ethics, zero integrity, zero popularity, zero support. That's how corrupt our foreign policy is, guys. That's how corrupt. Nobody supports it at the ground level. And then the very reason why we're supposed to be fighting Iran is exactly the very reason why Israel is in power. Israel is the one threatening everybody with nukes, not Iran. Israel is the one bombing every single country its neighbors with, not Iran. And now you find out, yes. You know, I will say this before we get into the story in the Times Magazine. Let's be fair here. I wish that there was a pro-America movement that was as serious and committed as what we see for Israel. Let's just be honest. There's clearly no serious political will to save America. It just doesn't exist. Simply doesn't exist. And we thought that that's what Trump was going to represent. Obviously, that's not happened. Obviously, that's been a total lie. I give it up. I give it up to the Israeli lobby. I give it up to Netanyahu. These people are serious. They're actually serious about protecting Israel. They're serious about they have a will to make sure that they fight for Israel, and they'll compromise anybody and everybody by any means necessary in order to protect Israel. I give them credit. I don't like it because my country suffers. I don't like it because the world suffers. I don't like it because I think it's evil, but I'll give credit where credit is due. There is no will. There is zero will in the American political system to save America. None. We have we the people, but we're not in the political system, and we don't have the money to have any political influence. So I give Israel credit. I wish there was a serious force for America that had the will that the Israeli lobby has. Nobody can deny the will of the Israeli lobby. You want to get into the ethics and the morals, okay. Yeah, there's serious issues there. But as far as the will to actually protect Israel, there's nothing like it for America. Zero, zilch, nada. Doesn't exist. And they're serious. By the way, Israel is serious. They'll commit assassinations. They'll start wars. They'll do false flags. They'll purchase your media. They'll purchase your government. They're dead serious about protecting Israel. There is no will or action like that for America. Doesn't exist. I'm jealous. I'm jealous. Now, unfortunately, we're tied into that, but we only get the negative. So we get the negative of the whole world hates us because of our foreign policy controlled by Israel, but we don't get the benefit of it being a pro-America force. It's not. Now, we'll see how all of that ends up. But so now we find out, yes, the whole 7K meme is very real. And we've known this for a while, but it's just reached a new level here with this Time magazine story. Trump's ex-campaign manager is running an Israeli influence operation targeting the MAGA base. Now, I want to explain a couple things, and I'll get into these pull quotes from the story here. It isn't a conspiracy theory that Israel spends millions of dollars to influence our media. Obviously, we know about that in politics and policy. It's also going on in media. They're spending millions of dollars. And look at the Charlie Kirk assassination and all the conspiracy theories. And you think, well, why do you have all of these people? Let's say overwhelming evidence, Tyler Robinson has did it, and Tyler Robinson is going to be found guilty. Let's say overwhelming evidence. Why do these people think it's Israel? What is the logic there? And if you don't understand that, then you can't actually engage in a fair debate. You cannot actually engage in this debate about what happened to Charlie or did Tyler Robinson do it if you don't understand where the other side is coming from. So why do people think it's Israel? Well, Israel obviously has a history of political assassinations. In fact, Israel, a small country, Israel is the only country on a Wikipedia page that actually has an entire separate page dedicated to every decade they have done political assassinations. So it's not like it's like they have separate pages for every decade, all the assassinations that Israel has been behind. So there's a history there. There's a history of them blowing up people with electronic devices. And it's very clear that the force for Israel knows no bounds right now. It knows no bounds. So all of these things are real. And you look at Turning Point USA and you dig into it more and you say, okay, here's an operation that came at this from the right wing to keep young conservatives on the Zionist platform. Here's an organization now that people interpret the entire purpose really was you had all of these Zionist donors that basically made Charlie Kirk fabulously wealthy. I mean, he lived in a huge mansion and they funded TPUSA. And the whole purpose was, hey, we'll promote conservative values, but we're going to keep those conservative values under the big tent of Israel first and Zionist foreign policy. And so Charlie starts to go sideways on that. Charlie starts to question that. And all of a sudden, he's not with us anymore. That's why people are suspicious of Israel. And there is a legitimate reason to be. Now, again, If you want to claim the overwhelming evidence has convinced you that it's Tyler Robinson, then that's fine. But if you don't understand why people think something differently, then you're never going to be able to engage in a good faith debate or really try to put their arguments to rest because you won't even address them. So now we have a better idea. All of this money is coming into the United States. It's coming into U.S. media. It's coming into U.S. politics. And it's all coming from Israel to keep Americans on the pro-Israel platform. So now you see this with Brad Parscale. Now, this is an actual quote from the story. I'm going to read this paragraph here. Last September, the global ad agency Havas hired Brad Parscale's firm, Clock Tower X, to conduct a digital campaign on behalf of the state of Israel, according to Foreign Agents Registration Act, FARA, filings. Under the agreement, Parscale's operation would produce 100 original pieces of content each month, with at least 80% aimed at Gen Z audiences across TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and podcasts. Let me translate that. Israel paid Brad Parscale millions of dollars to direct pro-Israel propaganda at young audiences. You know, the audience that Charlie Kirk had specifically. In a services agreement, the draft included in the filing, Parscale also pledged to amplify the campaign across social media and through integration of narrative messaging into Salem Media Network properties and aligned distribution channels. So now you're getting into American network news that are literally paid to be Israeli propaganda, referring to the Christian Conservative Broadcasting and Publishing Company where he serves as the chief strategy officer. Parscale vowed the effort would produce at least 50 million digital impressions per month, as well as influence how AI tools such as OpenAI's ChatGPT, Anthropic's Claude, and Google's Gemini characterized Israel and the war. For all of this, Israel agreed to pay Clock Tower X $1.5 million per month. Per month. Now, so this is total confirmation. We know about the Hasbara. We know about all the people that go over to Israel. Again, I give Israel credit. I don't support the Israeli agenda, obviously, and I don't support our country being bought and sold to the Israeli lobby, but I just wish we had something like this for us. I wish the United States of America had a will to survive and thrive like Israel does. Now, you'd like to think that we could do that on our own accord. We don't need to pay people to. We can just be rich and successful, prosperous and free, and that's popular and it spreads worldwide. But no, instead you're supposed to, you are getting force-fed Israel propaganda, which otherwise you would know Israel as, I don't know what, an apartheid state, a genocidal state, a bloodlusting, drenched in blood state, constantly attacking their neighbors, keeping the Middle East destabilized, entitled. I mean, all the negative stuff that's associated with Israel that comes naturally, that's organic, that would be your view of Israel. So instead, they have to inject tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars into the American media to counter that with their propaganda. And that's exactly what they're doing. And so this whole debate about Israel is totally synthetic. The whole Israel debate is literally fake. I don't know if you could say every pro-Israel voice is on the payroll, but now we know that, yes, through some umbrella, most of the pro-Israel voices in the media are getting paid to be pro-Israel. Now, if you want to call them sellouts or traitors, take your pick. But that's kind of the spectrum here. You're either a sellout or a total traitor when you're taking money for foreign propaganda. So now this is totally confirmed. It's not conspiracy theory. It's totally confirmed. Now, here's what's crazy. Just so you know how lucrative this operation is. Let me do some math here. So he's saying for 50 million impressions a month, he's getting $1.5 million. Now, let's try to put this into perspective. Let me just look at my, let's just do a quick analytics here on X. Let's see here. Okay. So I average 30 million impressions per month. 30 million impressions per month is what I average. And that you could say, that's my X account that's, shadow banned or whatever. That's what I average. A good month, I'll get 100 million. A bad month, I'll get 20 million. The good months are very few and far between these days because of the censorship on X. But okay, so I average 30 million impressions per month. I have 473,000 followers. Now, I don't really sell my X account too often. I've got one deal that I made with Polymarket that I'm public about. The Polymarket team's always been great to me. As soon as I went independent, they said, we want to support you. They've been trying to work with me for years, but forever when I was with InfoWars, I just said, no, I'm with a network now. I don't want to do it. So I went independent. That's it. That is the only time I've ever cut any sort of deal to monetize my X account. Now, as far as X payouts are concerned, I don't even make $1,000 a month with my X payouts. Now, that whole thing is rigged. Obviously, it's all like a big rig job. But so just to put it into perspective, let's just use these numbers because this is all we have. If you have an X account that is doing 30 million impressions a month, you can maybe sell a post for a couple $100. Maybe you can make $1,000 a month, something like that. So essentially, you're evaluating that. You're like a couple $1,000 a month in value. That's about where you're at on X, a couple $1,000. But he's getting $1.5 million. That is like, that's like what? 100 times fair market value? Israel is paying American media companies 100 times fair market value to push pro-Israel content. And do you see why nobody can compete with that? Do you see why nobody can compete? Do you see why everybody sells out, guys? Look at it. Look at it from my perspective. I'll never sell out, but just look at it from my perspective. Let's just say I'm an independent media guy. Now, I've been around longer than MAGA, so it's a little different for me. I've had a career in media, so it's a little different. But let's just say, you come up with MAGA, you come up with Trump, you're an independent media person. You've been doing well enough that you can quit your day job, but now the momentum is kind of dying. The momentum is dying. You're running out of money, the income, the revenue, it's just not there anymore. So you can try to survive, maybe making a couple $1,000s a month, or you can take the foreign lobby money and you can make 100 times what it is you're making. Guys, I'm not going to talk about other people's personal business, but before I went independent, I asked around, I did some research. You guys, the 7,000 per post, it's a meme. It's not like, perfectly accurate. That's basically what it is. So think about it. You can either sit there as an independent MAGA influencer, maybe making $1,000 or $2,000 a month with the following that you've gathered in supporting Trump. Maybe you can make a couple thousand a month, or you can sell out to the foreign lobby and you can make 7,000 a month. What do you think people are doing? Why do you think you're seeing all of these scripts posting on X at the same time about the same story? Why do you think you have all of these MAGA influencers that are all of a sudden pro-Israel 24/7? Do you really think that is organic, guys? Come on. Don't be so naive. Now, the truth is, most of them don't really understand anything geopolitically. Most of them don't understand the dynamics of the Israeli lobby, our foreign policy, the Middle East. They don't really care. They just need the money. They just need the money. They just want the money. And as far as they're concerned, maybe Israel's still the good guy, or they just don't really care. So they just take the money. And now it's all come out. By the way, this is crazy. This came out of the Tyler Robinson hearing. Did you know that it's an Israeli tech company that was able to recover the supposed text messages?
As part of the investigation, was a Cellbrite extraction performed on Mr. Twig's phone?
Yes, it was.
Did you personally review that extraction?
Yes, I have.
And according to that extraction, did Mr. Robinson and Mr. Twiggs exchange text messages on September 10th through 11th, 2025?
Yes, they did.
What time was that first text sent according to the Cellbrite extraction?
The first text was September 10th at 11 p.m.
So this is Cellbrite. I was told Cellbrite was also used in the Butler assassination attempt investigation. Somebody also told me that Cellbrite is maybe involved in the Lindsey Graham death investigation. Cellbrite is based in Israel. It is an Israeli tech company. I'm just curious why we're hiring Israeli tech companies to do all this research and not American. I'm just wondering. You can be suspicious or not. I'm just wondering. And you wonder why people are so suspicious of Israel all the time, huh? Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Oh, there's more. Israel's Palantir rival is selling $1 million spy vans to U.S. cops. Nice. More Israel tech spyware in our country. But don't be suspicious or ask any questions about our greatest ally. Cognite, which sells technology to snoop on phone locations, largely in Israel and Europe, is making inroads in America by tricking out trucks with spy tech. And are these going to be the cameras that are spying on us, by the way? Remember the deal they just passed in Europe? Europe's in-car cameras could soon be watching U.S. drivers. So they already passed this in Europe, and now your car is spying on you 24/7. You know they're going to try to pass this here. And I wonder what tech company is going to get that. Is it going to be an Israeli tech company, or is it going to be Palantir? And is there really any difference between the two other than location of headquarters?
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Political light years ahead of the rest. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
Yeah. Can I talk about a big issue I have, guys? I got a big issue right now. You see, it's mid-July in Austin, Texas. Mid-July. And for the second straight day, it's 80 degrees with no sun. What is going on here? This is a crime. This is a crime being committed against Texas. I'm very suspicious. I don't trust it. I don't like it. I'm just starting to get momentum behind a nice tan, and all of a sudden I get no sun and it's 80 degrees. What is going on? This doesn't happen in July in Austin. Not very happy about this. I have to tell you. Not very happy. Are you guys getting diarrhea? Is that too personal? As cases of a diarrhea parasite, Cyclospora, rise across the U.S., is it safe to eat fresh produce? So they're telling you that produce is the problem. And all these local news reports, these local like celebrity doctors that go on, these affiliates, are all telling you not to eat produce. Don't eat produce, guys. What do you think about this Cyclospora outbreak? Is it an attack? Is it legitimate? Is it a concern? I do think it's going around. I've heard, I've heard, let's just say, I've heard things. No experience personally, hope not. But yeah, I've heard some things going around. So, here's the thing about this. Guys, this is bad advice. This is bad advice. But, perfect opportunity here if you want a day off work. You know what I'm saying? If you're desperate for an excuse to play around in golf on a work day, maybe there's a businessman special baseball game in your town, something you just need a day off. Say, hey, boss, I got that diarrhea going around. Oh, no questions. No further questions. Get better. In fact, take the rest of the week. You got it, boss. You got it. We don't need you blowing up our bathroom. You got it, boss. You got it. You got it. I won't come in this week. I'm sorry. The diarrhea. And isn't it the perfect excuse too? Like, it's so humiliating. Like, who wants to fake diarrhea, right? Nobody. So they can't question you. It's like, oh. Like, whoa, that's really embarrassing. Oh, they wouldn't fake that. And now you've got the added, it's going around. So, just saying, if you're looking for a day off work, boss, have you heard of this Cyclospora. I should be writing Saturday Night Live skits. It's like have somebody really take it to the next level. They're sitting at their computer and they've got like sound effects, you know, ready to go. And they're like, boss. And then they play a toilet sound effect or, you know, some flatulence humor. It's like, boss, I'm not doing so well. It's like, oh, it's like, yeah, boss, I got the Cyclospora. Oh, I got a flush, boss. Hold on. It's like, take the week. Perfect time, guys. Take some time off work. It's not going to work for DMT, though. DMT, I'm not falling for it. Here you go, guys. Are you tired of winning? U.S. home prices hit all-time high. Median existing home prices rose above $440,000 amidst political debate over affordability politics. Well, it's not affordable. Nobody can afford them. That's why everybody is taking out loans and getting mortgages because nobody can afford houses. And now with the increase in interest rates, it's even more affordable. Honestly, the housing market is so insane. Like, you guys know I've been trying to move, and there's multiple reasons I have to move. I really would rather not. I'd rather not move, but because I constantly have to deal with threats and harassments here, and I need to build a bigger studio. I'd like to build a bigger studio than my fake garage studio here. I do like it, but I really do need to. The situation, guys, in Austin is insane. And Austin is like the best place to buy a house right now, by the way. It's like the best place to buy a house. But as you know, as I told the story, I've run into some trouble trying to move and purchase a new house. I will say, I think that hopefully we're going to be able to make it happen. I think by the end of the year. Okay. It looks like we're going to be able to make it happen by the end of the year. But what's so crazy about the market right now, guys, is what's going to end up happening, and I don't know if I'm the only one where this is the reality or not. What's going to end up happening is I'm going to end up buying a house for much less than what I paid for the house that I'm currently in. I mean, a significant amount less. I don't obviously have the exact number, but it probably is a significant amount less. Okay. So I'm going to be in a situation where I'm going to be purchasing a significantly less expensive house. I'm going to be putting a larger down payment for the house, and my monthly mortgage rate is going to be more. What? It's like, how is that even real? Of course, we know what it is. It's the usury. It's the interest rates, but it's so, and that's what's so frustrating when you talk about millennials and maybe Gen X and really, if you're in a generation below millennial, you really aren't even you're not even in the reality of looking at houses yet. Probably you're living at home still. So you can't even relate to this stuff, but that's what I'm saying. The older generations, it's like they really have no clue about what it is like for us financially. There's virtually no upward mobility right now for younger generations. It's like you should be able, if you can own a home for 10 years, you should be on the positive side of the equity bar. And then in the next situation, when you can spend less money, larger down payment, then your mortgage rate goes down. It goes up. It goes up for us. It's clown world out there, guys. All right. Sunny Hosted, I guess she's a lawyer. She's going to be defending her son. She writes a passionate letter defending her son, Gabriel, over alleged trespassing. Well, I'm pretty sure they got him dead to rights. Whatever. He sounds like it's mostly a non-story. He's just being a kid. He's roaming around on some train tracks. He's going into areas that are restricted. Everybody's seen it before. There'll be a sign at an entry to a train or whatever, you can't get access. So his friends were in place. He and his friends were in places they shouldn't have been. It's mostly a non-story. But Sunny is taking to her show and she's going to be defending him in court. and she's begging that the charges get dropped. Really? You mean you want trespassing charges dropped? That's funny. You guys, Sonny specifically, you guys used to be all about prosecuting trespassing. I thought nobody was above the law here. You guys wanted everybody that was guilty of trespassing to face the full force of the law, but not when it's your kid. I see. And I don't blame you either. Oh, yes, everybody needs to be arrested for trespassing, just not my kid. Ah, now you see. Now you see. Kind of gave me hope. You know, I often wonder, you know, I think about my childhood, think about how blessed I was, but I think it was fairly common. You know, I think about my childhood, it was like, yeah, we rode around on bikes. We'd find ways to get in trouble. You know, we'd go find some woods, chop down a tree or try to build a fort. We'd go down to the creek and skip rocks. We'd go to the train tracks, you know, just stuff like that, just stuff that kids do. And I think, like, do kids do that anymore? Do kids ride their bikes around? Do kids go down to the creek? Do kids go out into the woods? You know, do kids climb trees? Do they scratch their knees? Like, does any of this happen anymore? Is it a lost childhood? You can't even have this. So I'm reading the story. These kids are going around New York City, hopping train tracks. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe the kids are all right. Maybe the kids are all right. But I don't know. I don't know if they do. That used to be it for us. That was summer for us. How many people can relate? Probably millennials and older. Summer for us meant you wake up, you get on your bike, you go down to the pool, and that's when you basically meet up with your friends and decide what you're going to do the rest of the day. So you go down to the pool, maybe you swim, maybe you hang out, maybe go to the tennis court, whatever, and then you decide, what are we going to do today? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We're going to hop on our bikes. We're going to go here. We're going to go there. Then you usually end up at one of the neighbor's house, you know, playing Super Smash Brothers or something until it's time for dinner. That's what it was like for us growing up. I don't know. I don't know if that still exists. Hey, guys, there's going to be a new movie coming out featuring Tom Cruise called Digger. You're going to start seeing promos of this if you haven't already. And I'm already seeing right-wingers bitching and complaining because, you know, there's going to be a little bit of a bent to it politically, or at least interpreted that way. I don't think so. I don't think that's really the purpose here. Are we going to deny that oil barons live this way? That's my thing. Because that's all this is. They're going to depict what it was like. You know, this whole game, this whole left-right paradigm game that's so worn out at this point, it's just like, here's an example. I don't really care about celebrity news. I don't care about celebrity news. But I keep seeing this aftermath of the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce wedding. And I keep seeing all these conservative takes about it. You know, they don't like Travis Kelce for this reason. They don't like Taylor Swift for that reason. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then they're like, oh, you know, think about the climate change and all this stuff. And it's like, you know, I'm getting to this point with the right where I'm just like, why do you guys pretend to care about this stuff when you really don't? You know, it's like, you guys really don't care about anything. You pretend to care about all of this stuff, and you really don't care about anything. And it's gotten to the point for me, it's like, I don't really care if somebody gets up there and does some leftist political message, because it's just as meaningless as the right. Like, there's no meaning behind a right-wing political message. It's just completely meaningless. So I don't really care anymore. I don't really care about the leftist propaganda in culture and media right now, because the right wing isn't serious about anything. It's like, it'd be worth it to focus and address this stuff if the right wing was serious about anything, but they're not. So I see this whole thing. They're all attacking Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. And I'm to the point now where it's like, it's almost endearing to me. It's like, the more I see these right-wing propaganda, brainwashed people that they really stand for nothing, the more I see them attacking things, it's like endearing to me now. I can't help it. It's like I don't even have control over this. I see them all attacking this movie Digger, and I'm like, okay, looks like a good movie. I see them all attacking Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, and I'm like, you know what? I like them now. You know what? I'm rooting for them now. They're both my age. They're both white. They're both American. It's like, I don't care. I don't care about your left-right bullcrap. It means nothing to me anymore. It means nothing. The left-right paradigm means nothing. The right wing is serious about nothing except complaining about the left. So what do I care? What do I give a damn? Oh my gosh, did you see this? Did you see this singer? He's a liberal. So what? What are you? You're a conservative. What are you conserving? Nothing. Shut up. Means nothing to me. So I don't know if anybody else is kind of experiencing this. I'm genuinely curious. Is anybody else experiencing this? Like, it's not even that I don't care about the left-right paradigm. It's becoming to a point where when I see the right-wing brainwashed slop attacking something, it's becoming endearing to me. And maybe that's because it's becoming relatable since these people attack me all the time too. So it's like, oh, now we're like brothers in arms. If you're getting attacked by the MAGA cult, it's like, oh, we have something in common now. So maybe it's that. But see, it goes back to what happened 2 weeks ago. And nobody else got this except us. It goes back to 2 weeks ago when those Russian artists or whatever climbed the Empire State Building and they took those pictures and got engaged. And you saw all the MAGA cult people hating on it and talking about how bad it was and all the stuff. And it's like, that was the moment where it really hit me. These people cannot enjoy anything that is not Trump or MAGA branded. That's it. That's all they can enjoy. And part of me actually feels bad because they're victims, actually. They're victims of a massive brainwashing operation. They're victims of an MK Ultra operation. They're victims of propaganda, and they haven't identified the propaganda yet. So part of me actually feels bad, and that's why I don't go so hard at times against them. That's why I'm not as directional with it unless it's worthy or they attack me first, because a lot of these people are just victims of brainwashing, guys. They're just victims of propaganda. But they can't enjoy anything that is not Trump branded. They can't do it. So if those Russians, or they could have been anybody, if that couple would have gone to the Empire State Building and put a Trump flag on top of it, it would have been the greatest thing in the history of MAGA. They would have been drooling and doing backflips about how awesome it was. But because they did it for love and for fun, they hated it. And now it's the same with movies. And now it's the same with music. And to a certain extent, it's the same with political media. Unless it's MAGA branded and Trump centric, they don't want it. They can't take it. They think I can't relate, guys. I'm like, it's instinctual that I'm going the other direction. It's purely instinctual. And if you understand me, you understand part of what I do here is I just counter propaganda. It's like there's a certain part of me, the interdimensional time traveling alien robot that you're staring at through your screen right now. There's a certain percentage of me that is just programmed to just counter propaganda, period. It doesn't matter if it's left, right, I just counter propaganda. That's my instinct. So now most of the propaganda is coming from the right. So it's just, I'm countering that. But they can't enjoy anything unless it's Trump branded. They can't enjoy anything. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think the Digger movie looks great. Now that MAGA's hating on the whole Odyssey thing, I'm curious about that. I mean, let's see, guys. Do you think they can sell Elliot Page? Can they sell Elliot Page as Achilles? Can they convince you that Elliot Page is a strong man, a military man? I'm curious now. I'll tell you the truth. I'll see it and I'll tell you the truth. Don't fall into the trap, guys. Don't fall into the trap. It's like everything in politics is a trap now. That's what it seems like. Everything in politics is a trap. All right, let's see if there's anything else I want to cover here before we go to our super chats. You know, I got a bunch of odds and ends. Maybe we'll save that for a special fun Friday transmission. Just a bunch of odds and ends. You know, I've been sitting on this for a while. I'm not going to spend too much time on it now, but let's just get it off the desk. Benjamin Netanyahu saying he talks to Elon Musk all the time. Says he wants to keep up with the future and know where it's all going because he wants to keep Israel ahead of everybody else. Yeah, absolutely. I think Israel is even maybe running X to a certain degree, but I don't know if that has anything to do with Musk and Netanyahu. Now, here's one that'll be funny. This is actually... So now, you know, everybody knows Messi is like the big pro-Israel guy and has Israel contracts and is investing in Israel tech and everything. And so Netanyahu is kind of bragging about this, and he's rooting for Messi because of that. And obviously Milei is basically working on behalf of Israel as the Argentinian president. Now, this is a funny one. So that might be a reason for you to bet on Argentina to win. Oh man, DMT is going to get a kick out of this. This is true. Folks, DMT and I both, and I'll give credit to DMT because he kind of put me onto this first. But I didn't hesitate for a second. The University of Indiana that just won the NCAA football championship. Did you know that just recently, before this season, major Jewish donors took over the Hoosier football program? It basically got run by Jewish donors. And then they won the national title. And this is true. This is true. And you guys know I said this because I talk about, you know, my gambling habits every once in a while on the show. You guys know I bet on Indiana to win. DMT and I were discussing this. We literally bet ahead of the football playoff. When they announced the football playoff and you can pick who's going to win it all, we both said we're going to bet on Indiana because they have the Jewish money and influence behind them, and they ended up winning. Now, I don't know if those two things are connected, but there's a pattern there, and if you're willing to bet on that pattern, you might want to bet on Argentina to win. Just saying. Just saying. I've got now I've got two of my two teams, two of my four teams remaining after Spain's big victory today. But you know what? Maybe it's rigged for Argentina. A lot of people already feel that way. And maybe now you know why. What else do we have here? Some slop, some more slop, a lot of slop. You know, I got these clips. I guess we can save them. Let's do this one real quick. You may have seen this. You may have seen this commercial. This was a throwback. A Gillette commercial from the late 80s. And the caption here is right-wing propaganda, but it's literally just a commercial from the 1980s. You know, try to interpret this. So I think this was 88. I think this Gillette commercial is from 88. If somebody produced this commercial today, how would it be interpreted? What would the commentary be? Or would you even ever see a commercial like this today?
You're looking good. You've come so far. We know how to make the most of who you are. Father to son, it's what we've always done. Gillette, the best of men to get. On so many faces, it's plain to see. We give you all we have to give, for all a man can be. where the race is run. You're the champion.
Gillette Contour Plus with lubricating strip for the best a man can get.
So that was basically the average commercial in the 80s and 90s. And if somebody produced a commercial like that today, it would just be attacked and considered propaganda and like racist even. Pretty crazy. Isn't that pretty crazy? But you know that's how it would be interpreted. You know that's how it would be interpreted. All right, do we want to do, you guys want to do the slop or do you want to do super chats? We don't have too many super chats to get to, but I can do the super chats and then come back to the slop. So let's do that. Let's get through some super chats here and then decide how we want to go forward. Because normally we open up the super chats and then people start sending more of them. But there's a couple things I wanted to slop at you today. And then I got this video where there's a gentleman who I think lays it out pretty succinctly how Americans are feeling. And again, nobody else in the media is tapping into this. And this video really did not get many views. And I think it was very poignant, and I was going to play it. So let's go to the, let's hit the super chats first. We'll slop you before the end of the show. But let's go to our super chats. Light on the super chats today, guys. So it shouldn't take too much time for us to slop you. If you want to stick around for the Schroyer slop. Dust Vault leading us up. Am I supposed to feel bad for Loomer? Well, I don't know exactly what that's referencing. Is that referencing her being in the new Iran video? That's all I can assume that you're talking about, because she was supposedly in that new Iran propaganda video. I don't know. I try to avoid psychopaths from getting into my consciousness, my stream of consciousness. So I don't follow Loomer. I don't have any. I never see anything from her anymore. I'm literally zero. So I don't know. I would say no. That's what I would say to that. Oh boy, here we go. Poso is a cuck and a liar. Unbelievable. You know, he's going to get a lot of trouble. It's an interesting split, what happened to original MAGA. And you're seeing some of that dichotomy break down with the coverage of the Charlie Kirk assassination. I can't speak for Jack. I'm not going to speak for Jack. And I'll just say this, because I didn't do the video. We played it yesterday. I will say, here's what appears to be the case. As far as why people are saying what they're saying, guys, I don't know. Okay? And I don't even want to go in there. Look, I'll read the super chats, okay? But I already told you, this thing is so toxic, I don't want anything to do with it. Like, I don't even comment about it at all on X. I don't even mention anything about this on X. And now it's like every time I post, there's some account that comes in there like, why don't you believe this? Why don't you call out this person? Why are you standing with Candace Owens? It's like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, I shared a post. You know, the Trump administration is Q posting again. Did you see this? The Trump administration is Q posting. Did you guys know, by the way, in 2016, when Trump was campaigning for president and QAnon was first going viral, and it was a big story in MAGA media, they were banning, you could not bring any of that stuff into a Trump rally. If they saw you with any Q propaganda, you would not be allowed to bring it into a Trump rally. They were banning it from Trump rallies. Now, the Trump administration is Q posting. They're literally posting Q propaganda now. So what the hell is that? So anyway, so I share that post and I say, okay, so the Trump administration is Q posting. Am I supposed to believe in Q? And these people come into my comments. They say, why do you stand with Candace Owens? Why are you reporting Candace Owens' lies? And I'm like, show me any evidence of that. Show me any proof of that right now. And they can't do it. They just make it up. They say, well, how dare you demand evidence? Well, isn't that ironic? How dare you demand evidence? It's like the same thing you're asking about a certain trial right now. It's like, how dare you demand evidence? So I don't even post about it. I don't even want to get into it. I've had my same stance for months now, which was show us the video of him taking the shot and we'll go from there. And it's likely we're not going to see that video until the trial begins, which it looks like we're months out from now, assuming the judge wants to move forward with the trial. I mean, I would say all indicators are it's moving forward, but we don't know. So I'm looking more into the video, and it appears that I don't know if it was the exact video that it wasn't the exact video that we showed, because the video that we showed was either a video of the video or there have been new enhancements made to the video since that original video was posted. So I don't know. I would say the video that we showed yesterday is not the exact video that they saw, but the video that we showed yesterday was essentially the video they looked at with minor differences. It was essentially the same video. And what the video is, it's a surveillance camera. There's some debate as to whether or not it's the same surveillance camera. I think it is. It's hard to tell because they've zoomed in and cropped it so you can't get the full perspective and compare and contrast the angles. It's fair to assume it's the same surveillance video, but you don't know. There's no sound. You can't see his face. You cannot see the gun. There is no distinctive details at all from any of these videos, by the way, of the roof. None. If you just showed somebody the videos of a man on the roof, there is zero identifiable characteristics of these individuals. And the argument of they're in the courtroom, they saw it, we didn't. Well, there was one journalist, maybe we'll get her on the show even, but it's like, I don't even want to go there, guys. I don't know. The heat on this thing is so crazy. The toxicity of this thing is so poisonous. It's like, I don't even want to touch it. It's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't even talk about Candace Owens. I don't post about Candace Owens. I don't do this. And all these freaks are attacking me. Like, why do you stand with Candace? I'm like, what are you even talking about? So I know if I bring this other journalist on, Brandy from the Billy and Brandy show, I think it's called. If I bring her on and do an interview, like the insanity of this MAGA cult is going to start coming for me again. And it's just like, I don't want to deal with these freaks. I don't want these freaks looking at me. I don't want to be in a room with them. Like, I don't want any association with you guys. And I know as soon as I do that, they're all going to come for me. They're going to associate me with a bunch of things I'm not associated with. And I'm going to have to deal with a bunch of other BS that I just am not interested in. It's just not worth it. But I could bring her on. Maybe I will. And if it wasn't for her, I don't know if we would actually know the truth about what happened in that courtroom. So I don't know why all of these people are telling you that there is a clear video of Tyler taking the shot. I don't know why. I don't know why they're doing that. It could be innocent that, look, these are people that knew Charlie. These are people that were friends with Charlie and, give us Barabbas. They want a scalp. And there's enough of a psychological impact from something like that, a loss like that, devastating loss like that, and trauma like that, that you can deceive yourself. Your mind will play tricks on you, and you'll convince yourself that you saw things that you didn't see. This happens. This is a real psychological phenomenon. So it could be as innocent as that. It could be extremely guilty. Either way, the description about this video seems to be completely inaccurate. There is no identifiable traits in the video that can prove it's Tyler Robinson. Zero. And if you just show people the videos of this blob, it's just a blob on a roof, there is a 0% that you can tell me who that is just off of those videos. 0%. Not possible. It could be anybody. As one person described it, it could be a cow. And you wouldn't know if it was a cow or a human. That's how low quality the video is. So I don't know why they're saying this. There's no sound. You can't really make out a face. You can't make out a type of gun. You can't make out anything. There's no sound or anything. the only way this video works as a piece of evidence is if you can track and trace and prove all of Tyler Robinson's movements that lead up to that point, and you can prove it's Tyler Robinson. If you can't do that, then I don't know what value the video really adds to your case. I don't know. Now maybe we'll find out when the trial begins. But I don't think it's how it's being presented, guys. It seems to be either extremely disingenuous, dishonest, or people are suffering from severe psychological trauma that they think they're seeing something they're not. I don't know how else to describe this because it's truly mind-blowing. It's truly mind-blowing. And I'm not going into the mud on this one yet. The trial hasn't even started yet, okay? The trial has not even started yet. So I'm not going into the mud on it yet because I don't think we have a full understanding to commit to slinging mud like that quite yet. But I do think I would say with 98% certainty, it's the surveillance video, same distance, same pixelated, grainy images, and that's what they saw in the courtroom and nothing new. And there has been no indication of anything else other than them just claiming it. So it's very strange. I don't know. Let's see what happens in the trial, guys. Nothing ever gets done. We should know this by now. Anna X. Well, that's not true. Plenty gets done, just not for us. I mean, look at all the money we've spent in the Middle East. Look at the capture of Maduro. Look at the bombing of Iran. So plenty gets done. It just isn't done in our interest. Poso is a sellout. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Are we going to be getting a lot of that? Hey, whatever. He's doing the media rounds. He knows he's going to get the heat. So no one should ever have to see a Roblox pixel murder. Well, I don't know about Roblox, but the description sounds right. Hey, cutie from Wifey. Has anybody gotten confirmation on the Wifey hair? I think that she dyed it blonde in honor. All politicians are slurping on kids. Theo Vaughn. Well, they love protecting the Epstein class. There's no doubt about that. Who better than Trump to usher in the bugs? Well, he won't do that, but that could be a fallout of it. Klaus Trump is delivering for the World Economic Forum and BlackRock. Certainly not delivering for us, but they're trying to convince you that that's the case. They're fighting hard to convince you of that. It ain't working, though. According to John Kiriakou, IDF is training ICE and local and state police. Is it time to panic? That's been going on for a long time, actually, guys. That's been going on. Actually, that really started ramping up after September 11th is when IDF started getting called to train local police. And then actually some police districts were sending police over to Israel to train with IDF. So really that's been going on for a long time. I've stopped listening to 95% of journalists. Woofy. You know what? I'm right there with you. It's really sad, guys. It's really sad because I'm a media consumer. Like I consume the entire landscape of media, and it's pathetic how little there is out there right now. It's the worst it's ever been. Folks, it's so barren. The political news media is so barren right now. I'm watching C-SPAN. I'm flipping through C-SPAN channels today because the political media is so barren. It's like either you get Trump MAGA cult propaganda redundancy, or if you can find the 5% of the media landscape that's actually unique, individual, independent, and trying to tell the truth, or you can just follow, network news and headlines and just kind of get a general idea of the different happenings and circumstances. But as far as like truly hard-hitting, impactful political content, it's like it's not there. It just doesn't exist. And so Candace Owens gets the most views because she's doing like this real crime type of covering the Charlie Kirk assassination, which a lot of people are curious about. A lot of people are following that. So she's kind of tapped into that. I mean, even the anti-Israel stuff that it's like if you were willing to go there, that would produce the biggest numbers. Even that's all watered down. Even that doesn't really hit because everybody's starting to catch up with that. There's just like nothing out there, honestly. It's so bad, man. It's so bad. And people don't even want to watch it anymore. People have given up on politics altogether. So they don't even care. They don't even want to watch the media anymore. I can't believe I will be rooting for the Brits tomorrow. What, rooting for them to go home? What do you mean? They added the SAVE Act to the NDAA bill. They are going to vote yes and use it to cover up the joining of the militaries. We're cooked. It was good while it lasted, but I guess eventually empires don't last forever. Okay, that was in the second hour. Yeah, that was a big cover. That was a big story we covered in the first hour. That was the conclusion that we reached too, Captain. So, yeah, that's exactly what we said. I guess you joined us in the second hour. We covered that in the first hour. Deportations don't even matter if we're in the Middle East making more refugees that will immigrate here. Clown show. That's right. That's right. And so you get into the root cause of what's causing all the illegals to come here, and you find out that, and then they don't want to deal with that, and we all know why. Getting to a boiling point where Americans are going to come together, left, right, and independent, and it's going to get ugly. The sad part is it's going to happen after this country is bankrupted and destroyed. Well, you could argue that's already happened. They've just kind of been piecing it together and, sticking it up with Band-Aids and tape and rubber bands and safety pins to just kind of keep it up. But it's, you could argue it's already happened. It's kind of funny how Israel started this war and all of a sudden they're just out of it while we're still fighting. We've been completely played. Yeah. But hasn't it always been that way? I mean, it's been that way for the last 2 decades. It's not really funny either, but it's we get a laugh. Lori France owns a company that geotracks. They expect geotracking evidence on Tyler to win the case. Coincidence or part of the setup? That's a deep one. That's a deep one. And, I didn't really see any controversy with that. My guess is the defense would be arguing conflict of interest. So I don't think there's any connection there. An interesting angle. I don't see the connection there. And my guess is if it got brought up, the defense would have said conflict of interest. So I don't think that's entering the courtroom. You could have peed in the urinal. I'm not peeing. I don't know what that is. That I'm missing that one. Obama phone Pro Max. Housing prices are crazy, and I feel for everyone out there. Just got married. Congratulations. And my wife and I are building our first house. It takes both of our incomes in order to afford it. I don't know how single people survive. That's actually the reality. And you know what's even sadder about this? Now, you talk about the traditional household and the man is the provider and the woman is the housekeeper, the mother, whatever, she cares for the house. That dynamic is very rare. It's almost impossible. Most cases now for young people, both the man and the woman have to be making a living. They have to be earning an income in order to afford a house. So you can't even really, so it's even hard to live a traditional lifestyle because it's so unaffordable now. Ezzo, Owen, do you think sports apparel is generally poor quality, especially considered how ridiculous expensive a football jersey is? Well, I haven't purchased a football or any sports jersey for a long time. So I can't really comment on that. I don't know. And you know what? I guess I'm thinking about, I've purchased a couple things as gifts. I think the quality is actually probably pretty good. Quite frankly. Most of that stuff is actually pretty high quality. That stuff will last you, I would say. But I don't understand exactly what it is you're asking about here. No, I think most of that stuff is probably pretty high quality. I mean, you pay top dollar for it, so it better be. Ben Shapiro versus Elliot Page in an octagon. Who you got? I think I like Page. I think I like Page right now. Shapiro would have to train. He's not in shape. Shapiro would get worked. I think Elliot Page would work Shapiro badly. I'm not sure Shapiro could win a round. I think Elliot Page would whoop Shapiro pretty badly, mostly just because of conditioning. If Shapiro got into shape, he's a man, so he would probably beat Page. But Shapiro's not in shape. He's not in fighting shape. He'd get worn out in the first round. I think Page would work him pretty bad. JM Dog Patriot, you think we will put boots in the ground before the midterms? No, I think they want to wait till after the midterms. The only question is, how much control of the situation do they have? That's the only question. Because Russia, China, Iran, some faction of these interests could force Trump's hand to put boots in the ground before the midterms. I think the plan right now is to wait this out. They don't want to put boots in the ground till after the midterms because they know it will cost them the midterms. They know they can't. They know people will race to vote for Democrats if Trump puts boots in the ground, which the whole concept is kind of a lie. Boots are already on the ground. We are already boots on the ground in the Middle East, and Americans have already died in this war. We just haven't invaded Karg Island. We just haven't run military operations, boots on the ground yet. I think we invade Karg Island probably immediately after the midterms if all things go to plan with this administration. Reddit alien invasion, July 16th. Talk about it. Most of this stuff always ends up being fake. I keep hearing about this stuff. July 16th, by the way, that... No, what was it? The Q people say Trump is going to do the big arrest at the World Cup. Yeah, it's like that. There's no alien invasion, guys. There's no Q plan. There's no plan for nothing. You've been screwed. Okay, you got sold out again. Trump screwed you all. It's all propaganda. It's all lies. The entire purpose of this administration is a war in the Middle East and turning America into a data center for AI surveillance. That's it. That's all you're going to get. And you're going to get through this midterm, and who knows what happens. It really doesn't even matter. You're going to get through this midterm. You're going to get through the rest of the Trump administration, and everybody's going to figure out it was all bullcrap. It was literally all bullcrap. And the only two things that will come out of this administration, if it all goes to plan, America will be turned into a data center for AI surveillance that they will eventually turn on us. And you're going to have this war in the Middle East last for at least another 2 years. That's all you're going to get, guys. Everything else is fake. I hope I'm wrong. All the Q stuff, they say, this is the big one, July 4th. This is the big one. It's never the big one. It never happens. Same thing with the Trump. It's like, oh, we're going to do aliens. We're going to do mass deportations. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And none of it happens, guys. None of it's happening. This is the big wake-up call. If you didn't learn it from the first go-around, then I don't know what to tell you. You're not getting anything. The entire Trump presidency has been a vanity project. The entire for Trump, the only reason Trump wanted to win is because he just wanted to be president again. That's all. He just wanted to go out with a win, and he wanted to go out and do a bunch of vanity projects, and it's all about him. As far as the actual results, all you're going to get is war in the Middle East and a AI surveillance state. That's it, guys. That's it. It's over. It's cooked. It's a done deal. And that's why it's such a clown show with all of these people pretending like, oh, something's going to happen with Trump. Trump's doing this. Trump's helping us. Trump doesn't give a damn about you. I see these propagandists. Trump said he's going to donate his $400,000 salary again. So what? Trump's family is making billions of dollars. What are you talking about? Trump's giving his salary away. Trump's giving the country away. What are you talking about? A salary? What is that, a joke? So no, all of this hype that, oh, this is going to happen, that nothing is going to happen, guys. You're going to get through the rest of this administration and nothing is going to happen. Nothing. You'll be in a war and you'll get a data center. I hope I'm wrong. I've never wanted to be more wrong about anything. Terrestrial Laura, can't blame you on the Kirk case. It's so toxic because why do these people want us to hate Candace so much? I think that in and itself says it all. It's sketchy. Well, forget about Candace. It could be any individual. See, what you're seeing right now is a separation. That's what you're seeing. And you have people that can identify the different traits and characteristics of propaganda operations, and then people that can't. Now, I'm not telling you what to think about Candace. I'm not telling you what to conclude about the Tyler Robinson hearing from last week. Here's what I am telling you. I've been doing this long enough. You've been following this long enough. We know what a propaganda operation looks like. We know what Mockingbird Media is. We know this. It's easy to spot and identify. So some of us can just see it and say, okay, I don't know what the agenda here is. I don't know what the truth of what's behind this is. I don't know what the goal of all of this is, but it's like, yeah, that I see that's a propaganda campaign against Candace. So again, I don't care what you think about Candace, but clearly there is a propaganda campaign against Candace. And you can ask yourself why. I've seen it before. It's so obvious. Hey, we all saw him take the shot. 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 Safe and effective. Safe and effective. Safe and effective. Safe and effective. It's the same thing. Either you recognize a propaganda operation or you don't. That's all. 46 traitors. There's more than that. Kyle Seraphin, Ryan Matta, 2028 from Joshua Hobensek. That's the problem, guys. The good people don't want to get involved in politics. And, you know, Trump kind of originally Trump changed that game. Originally, Trump changed it, and good people did want to get involved in politics because we had hope politically again. But Trump just ruined all that. Trump just destroyed all that. US Dot Foundation is working on fixing the nation. Iron Lunatic. Haven't heard of that one. I'm just trying to be a better person. My name is Owen. Wilford Brimley pranks. Really? Is your name really Owen, or are you pranking us? Owen is, the name Owen is rising in popularity, by the way. You don't have to sleep on the couch anymore. Thank you, wifey. Thank you. Can I not go to war with Iran for Israel too? Can we take care of that, please? You never answered my question about the aliens. I didn't see a question. There's no question here. It just says Reddit alien invasion July 16th. Talk about it bigger. So I don't see a question there. So I don't know. I responded to that, but I don't know what your question is. I don't think anything is happening. I see this all the time. I see this date, there's going to be this. This date, there's going to be this. At this event, this is going to happen. And then none of it happens. Never. Never happens. Speaking of purchases, I ordered the Disobey shirt in the middle of last month. When could I expect it? I've paid shipping for it. From A-Rod Lens. DMT, are you hearing this? You should have it by now. You should have it by now. I'm concerned. I'm concerned that you don't have it. I do not have an answer. So I don't know. Do we have a media email at owenschroyer.store? Support@media.win. Support@media.win. DMT can respond, and we can find if we have a problem that we can help you with. I would try it there, but you should have that by now. That should have arrived. So we'll try to fix that for you. Legion 1906. You cannot vote your way out of decades upon decades of government corruption. Stop thinking you can. I'm not saying you can, but I'm saying you'd like to think that there's at least a pathway to putting politicians in that give us the chance to do it. And that was what we wished and hoped for Trump. And obviously we've been betrayed. Jordan, you need to prove to us that the brain worms and hair dye have not made yours shrivel up. My what? What are we insinuating here? I don't know what you're saying. You got to communicate better. I can't tell if you're trying to roast me or if you're making a joke. I don't know. I don't know what you're saying, Jordan. So I can't really help you. All right. Let's do this before we sign off. So I don't know if you guys saw the The MLB All-Star Game is actually tonight. They did the Home Run Derby last night. They were running, the MLB did a really cool marketing campaign, a very pro-America, patriotic marketing campaign. And I really liked it. I thought it was cool. And then I find out that the game, the Home Run Derby last night was only on Netflix. What a joke. Why do you guys just sell us out? Why do you sell your fans out every opportunity you get and you put this now on Netflix? So I didn't watch it. That angered me. The game in Philly tonight is on Fox. But, guys, I can't help it. I'm from St. Louis. And potentially last night, unfortunately on Netflix, maybe the greatest finish to a home run derby ever last night with Jordan Walker from the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, if you know the background story about Jordan Walker, it was a top prospect, and then he came up and just really struggled and just could not put it together and found himself back down in the minor leagues. Well, he's had a resurgence this year, and he's turned into one of the better players in the National League. So he's competing in the Home Run Derby last night, guys. 2 minutes here, just 2 minutes. They shouldn't ding us for this, but, what the hell. This is probably the greatest finish in the history of the Home Run Derby last night, and nobody watched it because it was on Netflix. And a St. Louis Cardinal, Jordan Walker, takes it home in the most dramatic 2 minutes of a home run derby you will ever see. By the way, he's down 11 home runs with 13 swings. So he has to hit 12 home runs in 13 swings.
It feels like he's even calmer. There's a lot of pressure on him now.
Look, ice water in his veins, guys. Here we go.
Here we go. It's over at last. Jordan Walker shows up.
To participate in the Home Run Derby. No Cardinals ever won this thing. Our friend and colleague Albert Pujols. 5 for Jordan Walker.
A call turning guys into villains. The hometown hero Schwarber putting on a show.
6 for Jordan Walker. 11. There's another number 7 for Jordan Walker.
That should do it. Get out.
Number 8 for Jordan Walker tonight in the final round.
He has shown the talent.
There we go.
It's one.
Number 9 for that is so impressive.
Unless.
Closer still with number 10.
Wow.
We are tied. Oh, man.
Wow.
Is that enough? Jordan Walker wins it.
It couldn't have happened to a more deserving fan base. The Philadelphia sports fans are maybe the worst in the country, and they had to sit there and watch their guy, Kyle Schwarber, lose in the most dramatic home run derby in Philadelphia. Just brilliant stuff. Just brilliant stuff. All right, we got breaking news here, guys. We got breaking news. This just happened. Senate Democrats block NDAA amid concerns on Iran war budget top line. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, guys. Congratulations. Congratulations to the Democrat Party. You are now more America first than the Republicans on foreign policy. Congratulations. Well done. Well done. So let's all thank the Democrats today. The Democrats stopped our country from being totally conquered by foreign interests. Congratulations. I want to thank the Democrat Party for being more pro-America and more America first than the Republicans and the Trump administration on foreign policy. Thank you, Democrats. There you have it, guys. The Democrats, at least for now, stopped our military from being conquered by Israel. Absolutely amazing stuff. And the Democrats did it. How do you like that? All right, a couple more super chats here. Mr. Clean, Democrat socialist candidates figured out something the GOP hasn't. The best way to win is listen to the needs of the people. Shocking, isn't it? Oh, I know. And actually do what their voters want them to do. Well, I don't know. I guess the Democrats have an issue with that as well. But no, they do things that the American people want and then try to follow through. The Republicans say things that Americans want and then they don't do anything. And I love this thing from Republicans. If the Democrats win, they're going to do what they say. Oh, really? Maybe you should try it, and maybe they wouldn't win. Fat Tony, thank you. Jack Talcott, is it time for the people to intervene and confront the corruption in government, or should we keep waiting for more reasons? You know, I'm a timing guy. In fact, I think most of having success in life is about timing. Because you can have the greatest idea ever, and if you don't have the right timing, it'll never work. It'll never work. You could have an opportunity to be extremely influential, and if you don't have the right timing, it's not going to work. So much of life and success is all about timing. Now, you have to make sure that when the time comes, you're ready. So it is all about preparation, training, however you want to put it. So you have to be sure you're ready when the time comes, but so much of it is about timing. Folks, there is no timing for this right now. There's no timing. There's no timing, there's no unification, there's nothing there. You can't intervene? How do you mean? We just got rug pulled, we just got deceived, and we're trying to figure out what to do about it. There's no timing right now. And so the timing was, let's get Trump in there, and then hopefully he follows through with maybe some of the promises. So that's not happening. So the timing is up. Now we don't even know what we're dealing with. Now we're not even really sure what to do. So as far as, stopping the corrupt government, absolutely, it's well beyond the time to do that. But where is the opportunity meeting with the correct timing to give us an opportunity for success? And that just doesn't exist right now. If it did, I'd tell you. If it did, I'd be involved with it. It's just not there. We don't have the numbers. We don't have the timing. And the American people right now are just dazed and confused and lost and disenfranchised. So we just don't have the environment on our side to be successful with this. You try something like that, it's over. It's done. It's done. And then everybody involved will end up with a life sentence, and you'll get an AI surveillance state the next day. So timing isn't there. It's not there. The timing right now is for you to do you. That's the timing. The timing right now is for you to be the best version of you can possibly be. That is the only timing right now. That's what it's time for right now. You need to be the best you can possibly be. Whatever that means. Means something different for everybody. That's the time right now. That's the time. The political opportunity to save this country, it ain't time for that. It ain't time. We got deceived. We got sold out. We got screwed badly. We got rug pulled. So now is the time to try to reset, recoup our losses, become the best version of you possible. That's the timing right now. Are they conniving and evil enough to not show 4K video just to let Candace destroy herself, knowing that they can drop the hammer at any point? Well, that's a fair question. But based off of what other people that were there are saying, that video doesn't exist. And all of the evidence has been laid out now. It's all been laid out. So if said video exists, it's either been presented in the courtroom or it's never going to be presented in the courtroom. Or it doesn't exist, which seems to be the case. But I do think there's a narcissistic nature to media, especially, the bigger you get. So people that have really, really grown in the MAGA movement to, millions of followers and getting all types of requests on Fox News and White House access. There's a bit of a natural narcissism that kind of takes over and you think you have more impact than you actually do. And you think like a case like this with Tyler Robinson, Folks, whatever is going on with that case, they don't give a damn what's being said in the media. And the only extent in which they might is if they can make a case to the judge of jury tampering, or if they need to make a case to the judge why evidence should or shouldn't be viewed by the public. Outside of that, you know, all the people talking about this stuff in the media, as far as the actual impact in the courtroom, folks, it's virtually zero. It's virtually zero. It's all just media narcissism. It's all just people in the media bloviating, thinking they have more of an impact than they actually do. It's really not impacting the case at all. So no, I don't think anybody in the case is thinking about Candace Owens at all. Except the other members of the media that are in there. That's it. Laugh my ass off. Thank you, Democrats. What the F, clown world. You're not enjoying your clown world? You're not enjoying your clown world? What can we do? Do you need a honky nose? Do you need a squirty flower? Do you need a rainbow wig? Do you need oversized pants and shoes? Why aren't you enjoying your clown world? You know, I'm considering, we do the Clown World show intro. It's very popular. People love it. But since we're going in a different direction for this summer, aesthetically, creatively, moving into more of a summer retro vibe, a Vice vibe, if you will. Vice City vibe, that is. Maybe we need a new show intro for the summer that is in line with the rest of the creative differences. There will be new merchandise, by the way. It's all going to sync up very soon. The whole look, the apparel, the studio, the attitude. It's all coming full circle right here in July, guys. Glad to have you here. That's going to do it for today's transmission. You take a 21-hour break. And we'll do the same thing, same time, same channel tomorrow. God bless and Godspeed.